Everything from overlanding in your stock rig to full-on LS-powered 2 buggies on stickies. This is the Total Off-Road Podcast. I'm Steve.
And I'm Ian. And thanks for joining us for episode 72. I was going to make that one lucky, but it didn't feel right.
It didn't feel lucky.
No, like I was going to. And then I changed my mind at the last second.
Right.
I don't know why.
I feel like it's going to be too noisy.
Yep. That's how it always works.
We're going to have a full-size mic get on that. Chop, chop. Producer man. Produce less noises.
Get the windows. We have a window guy.
Nice.
Fucking A. We have an assistant.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've had an assistant for a couple weeks now.
Yes.
Yeah. He's on it.
I like it a lot.
Welcome back to the podcast where we typically have no notes and really don't know what we're talking about until we're talking about it. And there's lots of tangents.
Welcome to everybody's life.
If that's your life, you're in the right place.
Yes.
Welcome. So this week, we're going to talk about, actually, we do have some notes this week, and we're going to talk about things. First thing I want to do is there's a bunch of you that listen to this podcast that also share our posts on Instagram. You share them to your story, and we get tagged in them. And sometimes I see them too late that you guys have, mentioned us in your stories. I just want to thank you for the mention in the stories. I do appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys sharing our posts and stuff like that when the podcast comes out. So for those of you that do that, thank you. And I thought that was something that was worth mentioning.
Yeah.
It's valid.
Yeah. I thought so.
Legit points are made.
Right. I went wheeling.
Congratulations.
Ian went roofing.
I did a roof on my house.
Mike went wrenching.
Did.
We all did things that could be talked about. Is this going to be the Total Roofing podcast this week?
No,
probably not.
I don't really have much to say about it other than it fucking sucked. Like it wasn't anything that I'm at all excited about or was like, yay. No,
you didn't want to go roof it.
It had to be done. It needed to be done.
And you did it.
So we did it.
Nice. Now it's one thing checked off the old list.
And it's 90% finished.
So do you want to come do mine? Next?
Nope.
You sure?
Yep.
Seemed like you did an okay job. I mean, it looked okay.
It looked nice pulling up.
Yeah.
It is professional quality, but I do not want to do that again.
I don't know that I noticed it was in bad shape before.
Same.
But, yeah.
Oh, it was. It was wore out.
Oh, she's tired.
It was wore out.
How was taking the shingles off?
Well, I tore off one half of the house Friday night after going to work for 12 hours.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Not a bad day.
Not a terrible day. Because you got shit done.
I got shit done.
That's right.
Hurt like hell afterwards, but boy, God, got done. And then was up at 6:30-ish in the morning to start putting shingles back on.
Nice. That sounds awesome.
And then did it again Sunday. And then Monday, I got up at 5:30 to go to work. And it was great. I found out that the inverter in Ford F550 will not run a heating pad.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
seriously?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it turns it on and then it's just nope.
Huh. Does it pop a breaker or just shuts off?
Just shuts off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's too many watts.
I guess.
That's interesting. You would have thought it would have been enough wattage for
it's
that.
only a 400 watt inverter. So, it's not real beefy.
I was thinking it was going to be at least a 5.
Nope.
At a minimum, 400 watt inverter.
Yeah,
That's
it's not real stout.
Fuck's that for? Charging your phone and your computer?
Computer, yeah.
The end.
Which works great from a laptop.
No hair dryers.
No.
No razor. Maybe a razor. You could do razor.
I don't know.
Electric razor.
Don't know.
If you had one you needed to plug in for some reason.
Yeah. Real old school.
Yeah. But, so I just ran the fucking PTO generator on my truck and ran a drop cord from that into the cab.
Wow.
Plugged her in.
Into the cab. How did you do that? Through the door or through the window?
Just through the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the bottom of the door. Yeah, I don't know.
You ran a generator to run a heating pad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, how else are you going to run a heating pad when you're sitting in your truck?
I didn't know that your truck had a PTO-driven generator.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You just click a button and it turns it on?
You put the park brake on because they got a relay wired in, so you can't run the PTO when you drive down the road.
Wait until you guys hear what I have to tell you about relays.
Oh, boy.
Did you see that on the list I sent you?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
But yeah, you just put the park brake on and then flip the upfitter switch for the PTO, and then it just
that's slick.
It auto idles up.
Oh, really? But you can't do it while you're driving.
No.
Okay. Can you bypass it?
Well, why would you want the PTO on while you're driving down the road?
Well, I mean, like on the job site. Pad. Yeah, to run your heating pad.
You just told us why.
Well, yeah, but like I wouldn't want to run a PTO engine-driven PTO while you're driving the truck. That would be bad.
Would you smoke the generator?
I was just
You would
thinking.
probably smoke the transmission.
Oh, well,
yeah,
that too.
it would be upset.
Yeah,
if you were
yeah.
like full on driving,
Yeah.
they probably wouldn't love you.
It would just not be good.
I mean, you could run a semi. You can run the PTO while you're driving. It just doesn't love it. That's
Yeah.
kind of a high RPM.
Yeah. So, yeah.
As long as you have a bypass pump, though, it will stand it for a little while.
Yeah. So I don't see how
But you don't want to
play with that.
Mhm.
So
It's straight cut gears and like.
Yeah. So yeah, no for me on that one.
Is the PTO on that? So like the transmission on a semi. This is way tangent. We should stop talking about this. Anyway,
It's the same. It's the same setup as a semi.
Same
It's just
concept.
a transmission mount of PTO.
yeah.
And
So
you
is it's wet something?
Mhm.
Yeah, or it's not sump, but like it's wet. They're wet gears.
Yeah. So then I have a
Yeah.
hydraulic driven. It's that van air that's on the side. It's a hydraulic driven generator, and it's like a 7,000 watt generator, big ass welder
That's
compressor.
So sick.
All in
I love
one.
that it's PTO driven.
Yeah.
Total Work Truck Podcast. Sorry, I had to say it.
Well,
Somebody was going to say it
They
anyway.
were going to say it, so I beat him to it.
Yeah. Somebody was going to bring it up. I
Gotta
wanna-
pay for the podcast somehow.
Talking
good
about
point.
trucks,
So-
I want to talk about Mr. Full Size Mike. A lot of you guys know that Mike has been joining us again on the podcast. I know some of you were missing him when he was out for COVID. Trying to keep everybody from getting the COVIDs, trying to make sure that my son didn't get the COVIDs. So we do appreciate that, Mike.
And some of you were like, who's Mike?
And some of you are like, who the hell's this guy that just showed up? You call him Beer Mike, but I don't know who he is. And that's just it. Some of you may not know who Beer Mike is if you didn't listen to some of the earlier episodes in the 20s and 30s.
Is that when it was? You'd know better than me.
I think that's when it was. 20s, 30s, 40s, somewhere in there.
Okay.
You were kind of hanging around for a few episodes, and then we caught the COVIDs.
Yeah.
The nation caught the COVIDs. And then Mike was like, I should probably not hang out 3 feet from you guys.
I'm in people's cars all day. It's gross.
Yeah.
So gross.
Yeah. You spend your life in people's cars. It probably wasn't awesome. But since he's been vaccinated,
Mhm.
he's almost tolerant to the COVIDs now. And he shouldn't bring them to us. He's over there burping and coughing.
I
Hacking
did
up a
first
lung.
call. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, first call. The revolution's got him over there, got him fizzed up. Anyway, since you guys don't know who Mike is, I wanted to do kind of an introduction and talk about Mike kind of almost as a guest for a short bit and let you guys get to know Mike and who he is and why he's here and what he wheels, because he does in fact wheel. He is one of the wheeling buddies. And just kind of get the rundown. Since you got to know Ian and I early on in the podcast episodes, and then now Mike's hanging around. I don't think that Mike's gonna go anywhere. He does enjoy hanging out here. And
I love these idiots.
yeah, he does. So much he takes his Monday nights and comes here. So first thing you need to know is Mike has a 1994 GMC Sierra GT. Put your pinky up.
That's right. Extra fancy. Get that pinky up.
Watch this. This is how I've learned to be a podcast host.
Yeah.
Tell us what your vehicle is. What kind of vehicle?
I was
you
just gonna
have?
get it. I was just getting the ball rolling.
I can say.
I was getting the ball
You just
rolling.
throw it at him and then you just sit there and go, "Oh, what's up?"
That was the introduction.
It's easy.
I sold a headache rack. I know this sounds a little tangenty, but it isn't.
Not really.
So
Give us the backstory.
I sold the headache rack off a snow day yesterday.
Oh,
and
wow.
I've been trying to sell that thing for I don't know, years.
2 years probably?
Yeah, years. And the guy messages me and he's like, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have sent you that message." I was like, why? He's like, "I'm 4.5 hours away."
Oh.
And I was like, "Okay,
Come get
well,
it.
never mind." He's like, "No, but I really want it. I'm coming to get it."
Sounds good.
Him and his wife drove from Kentucky.
Would you accidentally send a message and that's your commitment?
Well, he saw it. He was like, "Well, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I need. I have a short bed OBS." He's
Yeah,
like,
because it was a unique headache rack.
"It's a
Because-
ranch hand." And
Oh, it was a ranch hand?
yeah, it was a ranch hand that
Jesus.
I'd cut down. It was an 8 foot, and I cut it down for snow day, so it was 6.5 foot.
Oh, wow. Where did you come across that?
I found it on Craigslist a decade ago.
Good grief.
9-hour drive for that.
I mean,
I cut him a
no.
good deal.
when you want a 6.5 foot, or when you want a 6 foot ranch hand
Hell
headache rack that they
no.
don't make,
That's true. They don't
Hell
make
no.
it anymore.
it's a nice
It
headache
was,
rack.
but
Yeah.
9 hours.
Did it still have the lights on it?
No,
Oh, you took them off?
I took everything off of it.
Because it had the takedown. It had the.
The old school '90s police light bar. Well, I guess that was a tow truck light bar at
Yeah,
that point.
tow truck
But yeah.
light bar, had all the yellow. The hammers.
Anyway, the reason
Anyway.
I was mentioning that, this guy shows up and he's in his Duramax, and he's young. He's probably, I don't know, in his mid-20s, and he's all over Snow Day. He's like, dude, I got wheel, and I can't believe you solid axle swap this. And I'm just like rattling off all the specs. And it just reminded me, you're like, tell me about your rig. I was like, I was rattling off the specs yesterday. I was like,
Nice.
people always ask me about that thing. He's like, this would be a showstopper at our off-road park. I was like, really? He's like, we don't have anything like this down there. There's like the wheelbase. And I was just like, what? I was like, really? I was like, I mean, it's cool, but it ain't that cool.
Yeah.
But he thought it was the coolest shit he'd ever seen.
So tell us about Snow Day. So yeah, the truck's name is Snow Day.
It's Snow Day because it was a plow truck when I bought it. It was just a bone stock GMC Sierra GT with a 8-inch plow. 8-inch. Yeah, 8-inch, 8-foot plow.
That'll get
It's extended cab.
That'll get her done there real nice.
It's an extended cab short bed. It was a pretty nice truck. A little bit of rust in the corners.
It's in that. What color is that blue?
Oh God, I don't know what it's called.
Snow Day blue.
It's that real pretty light blue that GM used in the mid 90s.
Ian, are you looking it up?
What?
You should be.
The color of Snow Day.
You want me to
what's
look
it
up the
called?
color?
I don't know.
Like sky blue. I don't know what you want to call
just
it.
Just the light blue.
Super pretty.
But anyway, yeah.
Well, anyway, it was a plow truck, and then I did a crank, and then I did some bigger tires, and then it became more of a skip across the snow truck instead of a plow truck. So I sold the plow and solid axle swapped it. Eventually,
did you wheel it before you solid axle swapped it?
I wheeled it with that plow mount on there, and it was just like it was literally like having a plow on it while wheeling.
He was plowing the wheel, the mud.
We hit some solid things.
It would bring it to a dead stop pretty often, and so that got old real quick.
Yeah.
So then cut that off, and
so it was still IFS, and you were wheeling
still
it.
IFS had 36s, 36 by 12.5.
You didn't solid axle swap it until. Were we already friends?
Oh man, I don't even know. I'd have to like look through my old photos to even know when I did that.
2014. Did you SAS it before Derek? No.
I did it just after Derek did his, I think.
So we started hanging out just after Derek did his, essentially, like just not 6 months maybe after Derek did his. So maybe you were in the midst of doing it when we started hanging out.
I don't know, Ian. You remember when you got that Dana 44 sitting in your garage? Because that's about
probably could look it up on Facebook.
I'm just saying that's about when
the good old days.
It's not bright teal metallic because that's the greenish blue.
Adam Barron green.
Mm-hmm.
No. Oh,
remember that little OBS he had?
Squeaky.
Yeah. I have no idea. I have no idea when I solid axle swapped it, but it took me
okay. So
a long fucking time.
It's been a little while, yeah.
But I had a long ass wheelbase. It was like 143 inches all said and done. And we actually wheeled pretty well, but it was too damn long.
And then you rolled it.
Rolled it, trying to avoid damaging the light bar. I went further up a hill and tipped it on its side into the roof. Didn't damage the light bar though.
Didn't damage the light bar.
So I got my goal.
Light quasar blue metallic.
Are you kidding me? That's what it's called.
What is quasar?
I don't know.
Surely not. Can you spell that? Can you use it?
Quasar.
I'm not sure you're saying it right, but I don't know how to say it either. So I can't correct you.
Type that into Google and ask it to say it for you.
Yep, that's the color.
Huh. Interesting.
So
I've never heard that word.
Snow Day solid axle swapped with a 79 Chevy 14-bolt full floater in the back and a 79. That's not the color. I don't think.
Hell it is.
No, there was a more metallic color that year. There was more blue. That wasn't quite as like cloudy. If that makes any sense.
What?
I don't think that's it.
Okay.
I could be wrong. The sun is really shining on that one.
I don't think so either. That's the Corvette version.
No.
Is that what you just pulled up?
That's not the same color, I don't think.
Oh, interesting. There's so many colors of blue. Anyway,
I'm going to keep talking about Snow Day. So the front says 79 Ford Dana 44 because obviously those fit pretty nice with leaf springs in the front of these trucks. And the transmission's turbo 400. It's got 410 gears front and rear just because I had them laying around. One axle came with them. One I got off of Derek Lassini for free.
That's always handy.
So it doesn't have a whole lot of power. Obviously a TBI 350, but it gets the job done. And just recently I blew up the engine. And I stole the engine out of my 91, decided to LS swap it. And so just a couple days ago, I got it running and driving. Just needs an exhaust system and should be ready to wheel in a couple of weeks.
I think it's light stellar blue.
Well, that sounds better than quasar blue.
No, it is quasar.
Really?
I think so.
I'm telling you, I think that's it.
Yep. So from 88 to 98, the only other lighter blues were light quasar, maybe. Blue metallic and Bahama blue metallic.
Oh, I wish it was Bahama Blue
It
Metallic.
may be. I don't know.
You need to go get the paint code out of the glove box.
I'm sure that's long gone.
Is it really?
Really?
You change the glove box?
No, I mean, the paint code wouldn't have been in the glove box. Oh,
The
maybe it would
RPO
have.
code
Yeah, I
sheet's
guess.
going to be there. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably faded, worn. I don't know. Maybe it's still there. I'll find out and let you guys know next week.
I'm on FSC looking this on GM.
But trust me, it is not that color anymore. It is very faded. There's hardly any clear left.
It's even more
bad.
beautiful now.
It's pretty ugly, but it definitely gets the job done.
It's beautiful.
I shortened the wheelbase about 20 inches. I busted out one of the extended cab windows trying to get through some trees, and it made me so mad that I went home and shortened the wheelbase.
I've been there.
Yeah, recently you've been there.
I'm building a rear steer axle because of it, because my wheelbase is kind of set. But yeah, I get you with that extended cab blown out window crap.
It's not fun.
Nope.
It makes for a bad day when you bust out your glass. Just makes you mad. You're like, I should have been able to do that.
Yep.
Right.
So Snow Days shortened to 123 inch wheelbase. I got some rock sliders. I built a custom flatbed for it out of some used steel. Got from a steel scrapyard. And it's a pretty good rig. It does everything I need it to. It's just wide.
What size tires are you on the tire?
Oh, I guess I didn't even mention those. Yeah, it's oh god, it's had so many sets of tires on it, and most of them were good, except for Milestar Patagonias.
God,
I hate them. I know a lot of people like them.
The patties.
Mostly Jeep people. Yeah, I don't know.
Dim patties. Ugh.
I don't know why people like them or how they wheel with them, but I could run those things at 8 psi and not get up a dry rock. So now I'm running Mickey Thompson Baja Pro XS's in a 38-inch flavor, and they get the job done.
They're gorgeous.
They're beautiful. They're sticky. They seem to be wearing okay, although I've only got about 1,000 miles on them.
Do you think that's the color?
No, it looks too green.
That's too light, right? Like too interesting.
The pictures you guys keep finding are like in a lot of sunlight, and it's hard to tell. Because
this one is called, it's more fun. It's called French Blue Poly.
That's hilarious. Okay, I'm gonna look up Sierra GT colors because they didn't make them in that many colors.
That'd be a good.
They only made them in like a red, blue, black.
It's just something fun to look up. It's just to see what color it is, so we can find it. Like figure it out. Oh my god,
it would be interesting to know for sure.
No, it's light blue Kazar or whatever.
Yep,
that's 100% what it is.
That is the color. You're right.
It says right below it. It says light blue, whatever.
Yep,
Quasar.
Sorry, you have to paint it Bahama blue. I don't even know what Bahama blue looks like.
Let's find out.
There it is again. You just can't argue it.
Yeah, that's the color.
All right, so
Ian was right 3 hours ago. We knew that. Well, what else is there?
It's weird that they call it
whatever
light blue, Quasar blue metallic, because there's like no metallic. That paint is like very. I don't know if opaque is the right word.
You should have seen it in '94 when it was minty fresh.
Well, I have never seen that truck be shiny before.
I just showed him the white ass hips on the dually that were like minty fresh. It was gorgeous. That color was pretty. Look at this. Oh, no, it went away. It ran away from me. No, it's gone. Sorry. I had a dually pulled up, but you can't see it anymore.
There you go.
Disappeared.
My Felicia.
Anyway, back to Snow Day.
What else is there to say about Snow Day?
I don't know. It's a full size.
Yeah.
It is a full size rig.
It's a full size rig. It's pretty short. Got about the wheelbase of a JK. So it looks kind of silly, but it definitely helps me get through the trees.
It looks kind of silly. It looks silly.
I love it. I mean, at first it looked kind of silly, but I love it.
Yeah.
It looks perfect to me. It looks like it can do some work.
Yeah. And now that you got those new tires on there, the Pro Comp XSs are so nice on that thing. They just work. You know, it's always impressive about that rig is that you have so little money into it, and it just works.
It works
every
real
time.
well. It's not a whole lot of money into it. No, almost no power.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's got a 3/4 ton front axle. It's got 410 gears,
welded,
which is super nice. Oh yeah, welded front and rear.
Yeah. So pretty, even with the gray wheels. Showing Ian the dually that I found. Anyway.
But yeah, it's welded front and rear because I like traction. I don't have enough power to really break anything. I mean, I've broken an axle shaft once, and I broke some spider gears. We just welded it up, put some chromollies in it, sent it.
Yeah,
it's been.
Are you full chromoly now across the front?
Yeah, the front is all four are chromoly.
The rears are 14 bolt. Chromoly is not necessary.
Yeah, the rear is just a stock 14
volt. When you have 87
volt.
horsepower and 410s, it's just you don't need
That's
it.
right. Hey, I put a MSD blaster coil on there and some rapid fire spark plugs, so it might be 93. Yeah, 93 horsepower now.
Depending on what fuel we were running.
It sounds like it's running pretty good. Of course, there's no exhaust on it, so it's kind of hard to say.
That's right. Yeah, because like you just swapped the motor in.
Just put that motor in 2 days ago.
So does it runs good?
It runs great.
And the
Got
exhaust
the
is loud
timing
as
light
hell?
out, and it's
How's the exhaust?
I mean, right now there's none of it. It's literally just open headers, or open manifolds.
Mm-hmm. So you have the manifolds that were on
the 91.
The 91.
So I rerouted the O2 wire harness because for some reason in 94, it was still a single O2 system, but it was mounted after the Y pipe on the passenger side, and now it's in the manifold on the driver's side. So I just extended the harness and ran it over there and got a new O2 sensor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which will make it nice for the exhaust shop not having to weld O2 bung into it when I do bring it to them.
Right.
Yep. Less work is more better.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, okay.
They just did it different in 91.
You could have just put a plug in it.
I could have.
In the manifold.
Yeah, but I was like, there's already a hole there. So like, why buy an O2 bung and buy a plug instead of just use the hole that's there?
Because now it only reads one bank.
It already only, you know what? No, maybe it was either in the collector on the passenger side or just after the Y. It doesn't matter.
Hey, just look at your exhaust.
The 94.
If you decide that it needs to have it read off of two banks.
You really don't because
it's not
the other 94, aka the Chevy, has only read off of one bank for its entire life, and it's been fine because it's got long tubes, and it's just in one of the collectors.
I got you.
Yeah, it runs fine.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Then I mean, the computer's not really that smart. In
no,
94,
it just reading air fuel ratio. That's all it really cares about.
It was like, oh yeah, okay, more fuel, less fuel.
I did delete the EGR because True Duels on TBIs just hate EGR. They don't flow enough to make EGR work, so it all sets a code. So I just deleted it off the engine. I need to have the chip tuned because it is EFI, but it's not very expensive, under $100.
You should X pipe on it.
I mean, I guess I could.
You should do it.
Where the hell would I put the X? It's got a transfer case in the way.
Right behind the transfer case?
No, the exhaust pretty much ends there.
That's fine.
No.
Yeah.
H pipe.
Makes it so
at least it would actually.
That would be nice. Yeah.
I'm not
at
going
least balance it.
I don't care.
It sounds so good though. It would sound so much better.
I want it to be quiet.
I told him to do an H pipe on his trail rig, and he just didn't. He didn't do it on the buggy.
Nope.
I was like, I should have done it.
Does an H pipe really do much? I can see an X pipe because I can see the flow, but like the H, I'm like, how much is really flowing through that 90?
It balances the side, like because it's opened. So like you have pressure at the muffler, that pressure is able to equalize from side to side with the H. It helps if your exhaust is like a muscle car where the H is like, 6 inches long.
Yeah.
Not 2.5 feet.
That's a good point.
But like on my crew cab, the exhaust comes back and then the muffler itself is an X pipe.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's a Jones full bore and it goes dual in, dual out. And when it goes into the muffler, it goes into an X and then goes back out the other side. It's all perforated on the inside.
It does sound good.
Doesn't sound bad.
Yeah. Not bad for a 350.
No cats in a small block Chevy.
I just can't wait to have some quiet mufflers. Snow Day has never been quiet because it's always had exhaust leaks since I've had it. It's about to be quiet.
So I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait to listen to it on the trail and not hear.
I know those manifolds have leaked so bad since I've had it.
It got progressively worse when you like hit them on stuff or whatever happened. Mm-hmm. That definitely, it was getting worse.
Yep.
So that's gonna be very exciting.
I can't wait.
Reds is putting it on.
Mm-hmm.
So Reds is a local muffler shop that does a really good job. Family owned. Been in business for a long time. Not the cheapest, but they do good quality work.
Man, that place is such a mess. It's just a two car garage with 2 lifts in it, and their parking lot is tiny, and there's like 100 cars in it, and it's dirty in there. But man, they do good work. They're super nice people. Mm-hmm. Like you just can't beat it.
No, you can't.
I don't know if I'd want to bring my show truck into their parking lot. I'd be afraid of it.
They do show cars all the time.
I'd just be afraid of parking it in their parking lot.
Yeah,
like literally, I'm like, nobody open their doors. For the love of God, don't open your doors into my show truck.
You gotta schedule it. It's like first thing in the morning or something. Yep.
But other than that,
So that's Mike's. That's Mike. That is who Mike is. And
now you know.
Mike has known Ian for decades.
Since he was a little baby.
Since he
right after
he broke his arm.
It's probably about right.
Yeah, Ian was in high school when I met him. So it's been a little bit.
It's weird. That's when Ian was his boyfriend.
It's true.
Creeper old man just hanging out with a young kid.
That's right.
God.
I was buying a Mike's Hard Lemonade. Just kidding. I never did that.
That can go so many ways. Anyway, onward we go with more topics. I just wanted to introduce you guys to Mike so that you guys knew who he was. And so you knew why he's here and everything else, and what rig he has too, so that when we refer to Snow Day, we're referring to his 94 GMC.
I'll defend the full sizes when it gets too jeepy in here.
Good. You should. Needs it some days. Or too razory.
Oh God.
He's my backup for when the golf cart gets too golf carty in here.
People are buying them though.
And people are buying
Rick's
them.
got him one now.
Look, man,
Chris has got him one now.
It's been proven time and time again that people are stupid.
Yep. And we're still here to party.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna eat my words someday when I buy one.
Yeah,
I've eaten plenty of crow because I own one now, and I was always like, "Fuck those guys."
Razors.
Yeah, no.
Now you own one.
How lame is that day going to be when we all go wheeling together in razors?
You say
It's
that
probably gonna be a lot of
until
fun.
we blast up a fucking thing in the razor at like 60 mile an hour.
Like, well, that was pretty enjoyable.
Yes.
Anyone break anything today? No.
Great. I've never once been
it.
upset that I didn't break when I went wheeling.
So I went wheeling this weekend.
Let's hear about that.
Went back to the Badlands, and so the preview into me going wheeling was Friday, working on getting everything ready to go. So bring the trailer home because it needs some work. Hence, and so like that's one of the reasons I haven't been going wheeling on Fridays is because the trailer still needed work. All four wheel bearings on it were all had play in them. So when you jack the wheel up, you could literally it had physical play that you could feel quite a bit.
It's not good.
I'd say close to a quarter inch at the top of the tire.
That's a whole lot.
It was excessive.
Yeah.
When I changed the tire last time, Dad hit a pothole with the skid steer on it, and it messed the bead up on the tire. I was getting ready to lose a bead out of the edge, the tire. It must have broke the belts in the sidewall, and so it was trying to pull the bead out of the rim.
Wow.
It was interesting. It was. And so we changed the tire when I had it jacked up. That's when I saw the play in there. I was like, well, that's not good. I was like, so how many of the wheels are like that? And Dad's like, I don't know, but we were going to get some wheels, 2 pallets of semi wheels, which doesn't weigh anything. He's like, it'll be fine for this trip. I'm like, all right. And in January, I lost a grease cap off the hub somewhere in my venture up north. And so I was like, okay, I need to fix that. I need to get all these hubs serviced and make sure they got grease in them, make sure this is all good. Cause how many pictures have we seen lately on the internet?
Oh my gosh. Somebody losing a bearing or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went and bought a pack. I bought 4 bearing buddies that have the spring loaded greasing setup. So what it is it hammers, it presses in, essentially you hammer it into the hub like a cap, and it has a little lightweight spring and it has a grease zerk. And so you pump it up until the spring gets depressed, and then it holds grease pressure against that front bearing.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So every time it gets, uses a little grease, it pushes a little more into the hub.
Different than an easy lube hub.
An easy lube hub is through the actual spindle and has a hole on the back side of the bearing, of the inside bearing. So when you push, I think it's either on the back side of the inside bearing or the front side of the inside bearing. But nonetheless, when you pump it full of grease, it fills the entire inside of the hub full of grease and then presses it out both bearings.
That would be so many pumps. An easy lube.
It's
many pumps.
25 or 30 pumps.
I am surprised it's that few.
Yeah. I think that's how many I put in there.
I feel like it would be 100 to fill that thing.
Yeah, I did my uncle's and I pumped it full of grease for sure. When I ate the bearing up on that trailer.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. When I rebuilt it, I did that. So I 1 second here. So anyway, I went ahead and rebuilt those, and I put those on there, and all the bearings were good. The grease in them was all perfect.
Nice.
Rebuilt all 4 hubs. Sorry, that was a customer texting me, asking me about stuff, and so that's why I had to kind of stop for a second and get distracted. And got all those done, and then I was trying to figure the lights out. Like you and I, when we pulled that trailer last time, which was the first. When was that?
Oh gosh, the first was in 2020.
No. Was it really?
No, it wasn't that cold out that day.
2020 was when you guys had the light debacle when you tried to go wheeling. And
no, it wasn't that day.
The Trail Riders run went fine. It was some other wheeling trip that we didn't make it to. Or we did. Well, we made it there.
The Trail Riders run, I took something else. Did I take Matt's truck? I took Matt's dually to the Trail Riders run.
That's right.
And you pulled my Jeep. Was it in February? Like you said, though, it wasn't that. It was nice. No, it wasn't February because that day sucked. It was literally the trailer or the
It was
first
a hangover run, or I don't know what we were calling it.
Nonetheless,
yeah.
Mike pulled the trailer one day and we were like fighting the electrical in this thing, trying to get the lights to work because it was stupid. Like the ground wasn't grounding. And so like the trailer was like
it's grounding on the ball, which wasn't great.
Yeah, intermittent lighting, which must have been on, I was going to say must have been on your end, but no, because the ground through the 4-pin, the wiring was a mess.
We made a ground and that fixed that
so
part.
Terrible. Oh, I remember that.
We just ran the ground like over the tongue to the trailer.
Oh my God, so terrible. Anyway, had intermittent lighting issues. The lights housings on the back of it have been hit on God knows how many things, and there's like almost nothing left of the housings of the lights themselves. And so, after I get done doing the hubs, I put a brand new harness on the front of the trailer, 7-pin harness with the junction box that has all the wires in it and everything else. And I start trying to get the lights to work on it, make sure everything's working good. And in the process of doing that, I just look at the lights on the back of it and I'm just like, I'm over this. So I ended up we already had a set of lights for it that were like bolt in basically. Put a brand new set of lights on the back end of it.
LEDs?
LEDs. Yep. LED bolt, just your standard trailer light LEDs.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I did that, I was like, okay, everything's been done. Oh, and I rewired the trailer brake wires while I was at it. Because I already bought everything to do this. I just hadn't done it yet. I bought it like 3 years ago, probably. And so I ended up rewiring the entire trailer and then adding on markers. So it has 6 marker lights now. And it has brand new LED tails and a brand new harness. And like I checked all the lights while the trailer wasn't even hooked to the truck. So like the ground's good. Like everything is just minty now on it. So yeah, hubs are fixed. Lights are good. Like trailers.
It's all you need. It's everything.
It's not mint. It needs a couple boards in the floor, but none of the boards that I'm using. So it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
I ain't using them, so I don't need them.
I don't use those center boards.
Yeah,
so
you don't need them.
No, I don't need those. It does need some more attachment points for my straps. I will say that. I need a couple more attachment points, and I'll probably weld on some D-rings.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I'll probably weld on some D-rings at some point, like somewhere on the trailer. But that'll all come when I get my weld-on points to my axles. So once I get those things welded to the axles, and then I know where those are going to be, and I know where my straps are going to be all the time, then I'm going to make I'm going to weld D-rings to the trailer itself. And then after that's done, I'm going to take my straps and I'm going to cut all the straps to length, and I'm going to burn the ends of the straps.
Singe them.
Mm-hmm. So that they're
Won't that be nice?
fray resistant. Yeah, straps are exactly the length you need.
Welcome to the trailering life.
Right, yeah. Like, I just want...
Joining the club.
How nice would it be just to put the fucker on a trailer and just go to the park?
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah, see, you guys are there.
I'm like, yep, I do.
I'm
Yeah.
getting there slowly.
I have my points on the axle. I have my straps that
This
are all
is-
the appropriate length. I have everything all in a box.
Nice. You just pull it onto the same spot every time.
Yep, you just know where to set it and go.
Yep. Line the rear tire up with the light box and send it.
The only way it can get better than that, is literally just you back into the trailer. It's already all loaded all the time.
You never take it off the
You
trailer.
never take off the trailer.
Never
It's
know.
always loaded. You just back under it. Hook it. Okay, we're going.
Can't beat it.
It was nice that I spent all my time working on the trailer, and the Jeep was like, yep, it's good enough. Like, I drove it the other day. It's fine. Ish.
You say the straps that are the right length. I'm not sure how much I like that, because then if for some reason you need that strap or anything else, sorry for you.
No, that strap is only for the Jeep.
I know, but like say you move your truck a little bit or just anything changes
they're
at
not that
all.
tight.
Like
They're not that tight. You just don't have 27 feet of strap.
I definitely have that.
Well,
Like
you
20
have-
extra feet
yeah.
just like hanging out.
Now, what do you need that for?
Nothing.
There you
I
go.
know, for moving things when you
No.
just throw it over
That's
the thing.
true.
But I have
But, like,
four
how-
nice the nice clips where they lock on the end.
Oh, those
they're
are nice.
the nice straps.
That strap.
And I only use those for securing vehicles.
The end. Yeah, because that's the only thing
And I
they
keep
work
them in a
for.
box with my axle straps.
And they probably only-
that's all they get used for.
And they probably only came in a 10-foot length.
Yeah. I think they're 8, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't even think they're 10.
Short.
It might
And
be
I may-
6. I don't know.
And I may go that route. I may end up buying a set of like dedicated straps.
It's not a bad idea.
Right. And so got the trailer all wired up. And then finally at midnight, I put the Jeep on the trailer. And this is why I was actually asking Ian earlier about trailer stuff. And I was going to ask, kind of discuss this with you guys. The trailer springs on this thing sit so low that with nothing on the trailer, my U-bolt sits 1 inch from the frame rail.
Okay.
When you load the Jeep on the trailer, it sits about 1/8 of an inch from the frame
So
rail.
you need some beefier springs.
I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is that they built the trailer that low.
I don't know what
You think your trailer needs a lift kit?
Yeah.
I lifted my trailer.
He did. It's true. But also you did a mid. I don't know what you called this.
What did you do?
But
Just a spring over.
You did a spring over.
Hmm?
You didn't raise your brackets at all?
No,
you just did a spring over.
I literally did. I mean, you gain the width of the axle tube, which is like 2.5 inches, 2 3/4 inches, whatever the thickness is there. Plus, you gain about an inch from the bottom of the top of the
Perch.
axle tube to the bottom of the perch, or top of the perch, I guess it would be. So you get about 2.5, 3 inches. Yeah.
I don't really need it that much, but I was telling Dad how I think I would like to do it.
Well, you probably fit between the fenders on your trailer.
Barely.
Okay, so
But it'd be nice if they were drive over.
What I did was I lifted the whole trailer and then dropped the fenders,
so
that I would have less to drive over, and then just beef the fuck out of them with 1/4-inch plate,
right?
And
which is a nice way to do it. I have full fenders for it, like replacement fenders that are the teardrop, like they have the in between the tire teardrop.
That's the ones I had.
Yeah,
they're nice pretty easily when you drive over them.
They probably would. I'm planning on putting a plate either inside the fender or out or on the in between the trailer or in between the fenders.
So what I did
is put like a 3/16 plate there, so it's super sturdy.
I just drive over that. The fender, it's not the same style you have, but it's just like a U.
Yeah.
And then so the back you would have to normally cut like a piece of sheet metal or something.
Yeah,
plate that.
That's what's on it now.
Plated that whole fender with 1/4-inch plate.
Yeah,
and that's fully fucking welded. Oh yeah, it's fucking beef.
My plan was with these teardrop fenders is to plate that wall that you're talking about with like 3/16, so that's sturdy. And then I also want to run a piece of like 1.5-inch handrail, the HERW or whatever whatever is
cold rolled. Yeah,
the cold rolled. I want to take a piece of that 1/8-inch wall or whatever, cut the tube, and I want to run it off of like the frame of the trailer inside the fender between the tires. And like run it out to the outer edge so that when you step on the fender, it doesn't flex.
That's exactly how the PJ is set up that I have.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're drive overs, but it also has that kicker you're talking about, that brace.
I was just thinking in my head, like
between the tires.
I was sitting there running through my head, like how I would attach that to the fender. And I think what I would do is actually run a piece of tube, like make a T, essentially like a long T. So like there's a piece of tube attached to, run it inside the whole fender across the inside of the top of the fender. It'd be perfect. I'll explain that in a picture later.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm having a little trouble with your T, but
you're having trouble here. The people on the other side of the microphone, on the two that are listening to this are like, what the fuck are you saying?
So now that we know how your trailer fenders are going to be redesigned, how was your wheeling trip?
Sorry. Got a little into that because I'm excited about the trailer getting better.
Having shit that works is nice. Having
lighting and a plug-in where you look at the plug and you're like, oh, look, no extra wires.
You just plug it in and go. Can't beat it.
That would be nice. So that the reason I told you the problem of the trailer deal is that I hooked it all up with the springs being weird like that. It was sitting in a super rake. So instead of being able to leave out first thing in the morning, I had to wait till 8:00 in the morning to go to Farm and Fleet farm store and get a new drop hitch because the 4-inch drop hitch I had wasn't enough. I ended up doing an 8-inch drop hitch to get the trailer to level out.
Your truck is huge, apparently.
It's not, though.
Apparently, your truck's an F350.
It was hooked to an F350
with a 4-inch drop hitch.
I think it was a 2 or 4-inch drop hitch.
That's silly.
I don't understand. I don't. My brain melts. I need to look at pictures, and because I have pictures of it hooked to that truck, and I'm like, I don't understand how this is so not right. I tried to level it out by just pulling the Jeep forward. I had it sitting about 18 inches from the front header, and
just wouldn't do it.
Huh?
Wouldn't squat enough.
Wouldn't squat enough. Yeah. I couldn't squat enough to get the thing. I'm like, what the fuck? So anyway, I ended up staying to like 1:30 in the morning, like trying to run in my head, like running these scenarios through my head. Like, why is it now different?
Nothing changed. Nothing about the suspension. Nothing about the tongue changed.
Nothing about anything changed in this whole scenario. The Jeep is the same weight or lighter. And the hitch that I already had in the truck was set up for that trailer.
Your Jeep got lighter.
No, Jeep got heavier.
Or your springs settled.
Huh?
Or your springs settled.
Trailer. They have not settled more.
That's what I'm saying. Like they didn't settle more.
They settled a decade ago.
Like, so they seem like nobody would build what'd you say, an inch? That's ridiculous.
I would think the same thing. And then I got online and started reading through the trailer forums. And apparently that's very common. Yep.
Just put some
They
new
build
leaf
them-
springs on
They
it.
build them low like that so that when you have a car that you're trying to get on that's low,
Yeah.
you don't have the approach angle, or like the breakover there at the trailer and the ramps. So, yeah, I was trying to figure that out. I went through pictures from like a decade ago, and I'm looking at like the tire gap to the fender. It looked the same.
But you also have more lift in the back and bigger tires now, correct? On the crew cab.
Not since last time I pulled it. I
Oh.
don't think.
I was thinking maybe you had
something.
But I think that's why I had a
changed.
4-inch drop hitch, because I've had a 2-inch before that. Anyway, nonetheless, finally got a 8-inch drop hitch for it. Finally got everything hooked up, everything set, got all my stuff together, went and got fuel and low key, and finally made it to the park at noon,
as you do.
because that's my thing.
Yep.
Park opens at 8. See you at noon or 9, because they open at 9 their time. So anyway, finally got over there. That place was jamming.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really jamming with Jeeps and rigs. It was all 4-wheelers, dirt bikes, and side-by-sides.
That's the majority these days.
Like there was a lot of rigs there, like a lot of Jeeps, because it was the women wheelers day. There was like a handful of groups. Like there were like several groups of
Several Jeeps.
ladies in Jeeps. Yeah.
That's cool.
Which was cool. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
cool to see that. Like you'd pass a group and it was all girls driving.
That's so cool.
I know. I was like, that's awesome. There was one group there that was all, what are they called? The tracker. They were all trackers, or
I think I saw a Badlands might have had a post about that or something.
Really? Yeah.
I remember seeing the like 2 trackers parked side by side with women in front of them, and I
There
was just
were
like, that's awesome.
there were like 7 or 10 of them.
No shit.
Yeah,
and
and
they're like
they're-
a club or something.
It was like a club. I don't know. It was a group, but they were all together, like
Interesting.
cruising through the park. I was like, that's cool.
Were they like stock-ish trackers? Or
Yeah.
they solid axle? They weren't solid
They
axle
were like
swapped or anything.
stockish trackers that were like built out for wheeling.
That's amazing.
It was wonderful.
I want one.
Just, I know.
Just weld the rear. Unlike some people and their liberties
Shut your
need
mouth.
to weld the rear and just go wheeling. But anyway, sorry. I
That,
didn't
it
mean to
was cool
distract.
because I was looking at that. I was like, oh my God, you have so little money in that. Like, and you effectively have like a side by side.
We just want to go 4-wheeling and spend $500.
The end.
Done.
Yeah. It's like buying a Liberty and call it a day.
Done.
So that was cool to see that. There were, like I said, there were several groups of ladies in JKs and JLs. There were so many bougie blue JLs there. Oh, it's wonderful.
I'll bet.
Every time I turn around, I'm like, oh, hey there.
Hey, girl.
Got into the park and met Matt and Mackenzie there. And then, which was Matt is the Cummins crawler. You guys have heard about him in some of the older podcasts. He was there with his girlfriend. She was in their yellow LJ. Thank you. I was gonna say JL. I'm like, that's not right.
That's depressing.
What's that?
I want to see the old Cummins crawler back out.
Oh man, he was out there at the park, and what was it? He was looking at Eric Gentry's JK. He's like, I need to get my truck back together. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock.
yeah, well, yep.
Fucking threw what, $5,000 at it last year. Now it's just sitting in the
sitting.
driveway.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So what, he had Josh rework all the suspension?
Everything,
And
yep.
So why is it not back together?
It's got coilovers, brand new Radflow coilovers front and rear. It's got a brand new transmission, like skid plate, like full built underbelly. It has all new front 4-link. I think the rear 4-link's been reworked. Oh my God, it's going to be wonderful.
Is it going to be lower?
I
Or
don't
is it still going to be
remember.
big dumb mud truck style?
I don't remember how much he lowered it
I
or
don't
lifted
think it was ever really big dumb mud truck
Oh, it's
style
just
with
on
the
40
tires it
It's
had.
on
yeah.
47, so I'm like, it doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, that's true.
But even at big dumb mud truck, it would go anywhere.
Oh yeah, there was no obstacle.
It had
It wasn't
all
like,
the
oh, it's too
flexies.
big dumb mud truck for that. No, it would just go up.
Yeah, it would just go. So yeah, it would definitely, and it's stable because it's so wide
Mhm.
at 102 inches wide. I mean,
Jesus.
yeah, the only problem with that thing is just getting it through places.
Mhm.
Usually, you just turn into bulldozer.
That's no shit.
Yeah,
So what's it waiting on? Like, why isn't it done?
it really doesn't need that much. He needs to order coils or needs to order springs because he didn't order them yet for the shocks.
Gotcha.
He needs to get his springs dialed in. He needs to put his fuel tank back in. He needs to rework his hood stack because where Josh had to run the shock hoops, that has to be, the hood stack was in the way. So he has to rerun that a different route. To
You
figure
should
all
just
that.
put exhaust on the damn thing so it's not so
It's
fucking
been
loud.
it's been discussed, but I don't know if he wants to do it or not.
Yeah, whatever.
He hasn't made his mind up on that yet either. And then he has to do his full wiring and plumbing for his rear steer, his auto centering rear steer. So there's a few big projects, but like nothing over the top. Like it just needs to be done.
Yep.
So I met up with him And then we went and headed out to down through the park, and Kyle Mang was there, and I talked to him. He's like, I don't know where we're at. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna head like towards the quarry to see what's going on out there, because I'm thinking a huge event day. The campgrounds are just maxed out. Like there's no room left in the campgrounds, and I was like, there's got to be some cool stuff going on. So I go down to the quarry, and the first person I run into is Tony. I think it's Gambin, who is a guy on Instagram that I've talked to several times about his Jeep, because he was doing a similar like 44 and a 9-inch like I've got mine. So I ran into him. That was pretty cool because I've never met him. He's up from Michigan. He lives up close to Rick, like their buddy, like him and Rick are buddies from Crawler
cool.
Off-Road. Yeah. And so I ran into him. He saw my Jeep and hollered at me, and so I went over and talked to him for a little bit. So that was pretty cool to meet him finally. And then I headed out through the quarry, and as I'm heading across the quarry, I see a big old giant. No, I say big old giant, but I see a black mall crawler of a JK, and it's Eric Gentry, and he's building this thing been building it for like 2 years. It's a shakedown run. I'm like, yeah, like cool. Finally, I get to see this thing in person. It's got king coilovers on all four corners, ton swapped, 41.5-inch Pitbull rockers. Like it's pretty well built.
Built to do some wheeling.
Aluminum links front and rear. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Damn.
Oh yeah, like 538 gears, and we go out there in that back wall where you were struggling with that one day.
But made it up.
Huh? You made it up. Yeah, but you made it up.
Don't say I was struggling with that. Saying I made it up.
You were struggling with it because it was a pretty hard. The line that you chose was kind of a hard line. Well, he did one of Tony's buddies that was there in a red XJ, pretty stock, was sitting there trying to get up it. I told him, I was like, dude, I'm on 40s, and that's one of those like obstacles that you have to like hit it and commit to get up it, because you're not going up it if you don't like fully commit. And he's like, oh, okay. So he gives her the old full commit and cleans the bolts off the yoke in the rear.
So cleaned her fresh.
Oh yeah, just cleaned 3 of the bolts off, just sheared them off.
U-bolts.
They're not It
needs
straps.
U-bolt straps, and not the
straps.
fucking flat straps.
Saddles.
Oh.
Yeah, the saddles, they just break every time because they're like 8mm bolts. They're just tiny.
They're not designed for the side load like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they had axle wrap as well because he took one leaf out of the leaf pack and had lift shackles on it. You know what I mean? It's like it had it got some wrap going on and just clink. It doesn't take much. And so he broke those off, and then Eric's like, all right, my turn. So we got him squared away and got him out of the way and stuff. And then Eric comes over there with his fully built, everything else, gets up on it. He goes and gives her a little bump, and she kind of like, just a little shimmy shake because it's 41.5. So it's got some tire flex.
Oh, yeah.
He gives her a little shimmy shake, falls that back down. It's a rut down at the bottom. It's kind of carved out the shape of a tire because nobody can get up that first little ledge.
It's a double bump, and like both your tires are trying to climb like both bumps at the same time. That's what makes it so tricky.
Yep. Yeah. And so he goes to give it another little bump, and like he no more than gives that thing just a little bit of throttle, and boom, detonates the rear drive shaft.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Broke it at the double cardan joint. So like where the double cardan welds to the drive shaft up by the transfer case, it broke right, like just like in the ears of that.
What engines do these guys have in their rigs?
3.7 or 3.8, whatever the minivan motor is. It might be a 3.6. I forget what year his is.
Just hearing all this makes me think I don't want lower gears and I don't want more power because I went up that and I was spinning tires all day trying to get up that thing and I didn't break anything.
No, this was just some fluke.
That's crazy.
Like that had to be a fluke. You don't break double cardan pieces like that. Like
maybe it was already on its way out.
Like U-joint, okay, but like this part, like you don't break that part. I think it was just a casting problem.
Maybe.
But anyway, he detonated that, and I was like, "Well, how's the U-joint look?" He's like, "Perfect. Like all the caps are there, nothing's moved. Like everything's still there. It just broke this piece. It's weird. Like when we're sitting there just looking at it, kind of scratching your head. So yeah, he broke on that, and then they were like, "Okay, your turn." I'm like, y'all got me psyched out now. I'm not trying to break a drive shaft.
You need an excuse anyway, though.
No, that one's going in the front.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But my new one's not in the mail yet, and I'm not trying to break a drive shaft when I just got here because I'd only been there at that point for maybe an hour. And so I went and played on it a little bit. Somebody had broke prior to us being there, and they either broke No, they must have broke something in the rear axle. They must have either broke a rear axle shaft, or they did something that required them to lose diff fluid because that trough that is there that's carved out was full of water and 80-90 weight.
Oh God, talk about slick.
Slippery.
Yeah,
I was trying to get up, but I got my tires in it. And I kept trying. I'm like,
might as well spray some WD-40 on your tires before you try to go up an obstacle.
I think it's worse than that.
Probably
like
worse.
It was bad. And and then everything smelled like 80, 90 weight, and then you're like slinging it everywhere. Ugh.
Gross.
It was gross. Yep. And so I backed after like 4 or 5 attempts. I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done beating on it. And then I see a video that Tony took and posted on Instagram, and I look like such a puss because it's just like.
It just looks like you didn't even try.
Yeah, that feels so much different in person. Like when you're in it, it feels completely different. Like you're actually beating on something, and like you see a video, you're like, oh. Like had he showed me that video while I was sitting there on the wall, I'd been like, oh, okay.
If you could just have a drone flying next to you and you'd have the screen
and like see it, like what it actually looks like.
You're like, oh no, this is fine.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but when you're sitting in it. It's not good. So I got done with that obstacle and I got to run around a little bit. So Eric broke his, so he was kind of trying to figure out what he was going to do the rest of the day. And so we split off, went and did some wheeling, met up with a few more people and stuff. Just kind of hung out. We went and got some lunch. They had all kinds of vendors set up there, and they had like food trucks.
Oh, nice.
So they had a barbecue joint. They had a wood-fired pizza joint, a donut place, and then a guy making like popcorn and like lemonade shake-ups. Robbie's, that local restaurant there.
Yep.
They had a full tent set up.
That's cool.
Doing their food. And then they had the normal concessions set up for the Badlands. So that was pretty awesome. And then they had a few, like I said, vendors and stuff like that, like t-shirt. One was a lot of like woman run businesses that were set up there. So pretty cool.
Solid.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see all that. They had some cool rigs parked there. They did so much work to that park. Like prior to that event,
like
they
it
changed
seemed different.
So much stuff. Oh yes, they put rock in the entrance to the campgrounds. They put rock, like they filled all that with brand new rock.
Oh, nice.
And like there was a sign in the middle that said like entrance this way, and it was like really confusing. That sign's gone now, so it's just the entrance is just huge going into the campgrounds. And then up by the bathrooms, they put in white rock, like. The entire, like that used to be like a dirt parking area.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they probably put in like 400 or 500 tons of white rock there.
So it's all
around
nice
the bathrooms and all the way up to like where it like funnels back to the road.
Oh wow,
like it's huge. Yeah, did all white rock there. Where the concessions are at, they did wood chips. Like that entire area is nothing but wood chips, and they put in probably maybe 8 or 10. Picnic tables in there. Like they did a lot of like,
but did they repave the main road?
Oh no, absolutely not.
It's the bumpiest, shittiest road ever. It's like they do everything in that park, and they're like, except this road, we will never asphalt. It's like, come on, just do this one thing,
please. Yes, that's what I was having a discussion with Matt when we were walking to get food. I was like, they do all this. We can buy 800 tons of rock, but we can't just fix this road.
It could even be white rock too.
It'd be fine. Yeah,
or just do something.
I told him, I was like, just mill the sumbitch, just come in and mill it flat and smooth, and then just put gravel back over it or whatever.
Anything.
Like, you own an old gravel pit. It shouldn't be that hard to get some dump trucks down there and pull some rock out.
No kidding.
Yeah, we had that discussion, but yeah, they did all that stuff. I didn't even go in the building.
Oh yeah, you don't have to because you got that bronze pass.
Well, no, we got checked in where I parked at behind the campgrounds.
Yeah, they usually check in on the road.
They had 3 or 4 ladies out there checking you in, signing you in, like full paid. You're ready to go. You don't have to go to the building. You like literally park your stuff, take it off there, and like turn, and it takes you back to where the old entrance to the quarry was.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So like it was just easy peasy. Once you got in, you're in.
When they do big events like that, they usually have check in, like, and you don't have to get out of your car, your rig, whatever.
This time you didn't even drive up the office. Right past the campgrounds, really? I turned and went down the back road. Yep.
Oh, that's different.
Because the top parking lot where we would normally park, that's where all the food and vendors were. So no parking there. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, they got plenty of space, so they can just do whatever.
Oh yeah, they had plenty of room for that. We probably almost filled that field though, full of vehicles.
I'll bet.
Yeah. But yeah, so we did that, hung around, got some food. After getting some food, went back out, ended up meeting up with Kyle Mang, ran around with him. Eric was out in his side-by-side and then went back and got the Jeep and drove around in front-wheel drive. Ended up running into Holly just for a short minute, ran into her. She was down in the quarry. And then
Get a picture with her.
I didn't. No, she was like,
Was she surrounded?
No, well, she probably was
Full paparazzi. Like,
Well, I'm just saying, I would be.
yeah. She was
Yep.
like half surrounded when I got there, but she was like getting done talking to people and hopping back in her Jeep to go wheeling. I'm like, I'm not gonna drag her back out of her Jeep
Yeah.
to fucking chit chat.
you'd have made the highlight reel if you dragging her
We're gonna
physically
be back
out of
over
the
on the
Jeep.
14th and 15th. She'll be there.
Oh, she will be?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
She's come back on the 14th and 15th.
Is there an event that day, or is it
Nope.
just
It's just the Great American Crawl.
Oh, and that's just a stop on it, or
If Eric gets his shit box mall crawler back together, he will be there as well.
I see.
If he calls Chris and gets a new drive shaft made.
That's
some-
real soon.
That's some pot kettle shit right
fucking
there is
soon.
what that is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, do you
No.
order your drive shaft?
It's not ordered.
That's a pot kettle calling
I
it.
don't have the dollars yet.
It's like
Yeah.
10 days
So-
away.
It's all
We
the
talked.
monies.
So that's pretty much how the event went. I hung out with Kyle Mang, watched him get stuck on some rocks. His buddy Pat was there, got to meet him, and then I took them on a long loop around the backside of the quarry, out through the ravine. We ran the creek from one end to the other,
Nice.
and then jumped out of the creek, went up through the dunes on the very back dunes over there.
Did you get any air?
And then no,
Oh,
you don't jump the Loki.
come on.
That's not a jumper.
Try it.
It's not a jumper.
I know. I'm just
Trust me.
kidding.
I'll tell you more about that in a moment.
Oh boy.
So that was the end of the day. We wrapped it up, loaded it back on the trailer, drug it back home. Flawless, almost flawless. The truck didn't exactly like pulling into the wind. It had a headwind of like 15 to 20 mile an hour. So it didn't exactly love that. Although I will say mine doesn't shift into second like yours does. It'll downshift into third, but it will not downshift into second.
Maybe it is a
Yours gets
480
rowdy.
thing, or like what is that?
I
Or
don't
is it
know.
just because you would explode a TV? Your Vortec 350 would explode if you did that.
Your Vortec goes to like 5,500 RPM. It's like, nope.
Whereas the LS is like 6,000, whatever. That's fine.
That's fine. Yeah. this is where I belong.
It's all good, bro.
Oh,
You know,
look
now
home.
that I got that Hypertech power programmer.
Oh, did you put it on?
Yeah.
Oh,
Get
nice.
all
Does
the,
it do
all the
anything?
powers.
I don't notice any difference in power at all. It does shift a tiny bit firmer with the shift tune, and
Okay.
I disabled the V4 mode.
Oh, that's nice.
But hopefully that extra 7 horsepower will
snap.
let my truck not shift down into second. That's all
We'll
I need,
see.
right? An extra 7
Yeah.
horsepower.
That's all you need. So, yeah, the truck towed back okay. It was kind of wiggly, so I'm gonna work on some stuff. We'll talk about that in future podcasts, depending on what my results are. And then, I did. So last week's episode, we talked about drive shaft for Loki, and that Chris needed to get me a quote. And so he, of course, Tuesday morning calls me, and he's like, "So you want me to get you a quote, but you won't give me the measurements?"
I can hear him saying that. I can
And
hear
I'm
him
like,
saying,
yeah. And so I got him. We're sitting right there, and I was like, I'll just grab my tape measure now and go get him. So I went
That's awesome.
grabbed the tape measure, went out there. We were talking about some other stuff too that I was wanting to get. And so I went out there and measured everything up, and he got me a quote promptly. So what I need for that setup, because I'm going from a 1310 to a 1350, is I need a yoke on the back of the transfer case. I need the whole drive shaft, 1350 drive shaft, 42 inches in length. And then I need a yoke for the 9-inch as well. So he got in contact with Adams. I don't know, they deal with Adams a lot. So he said that's who he was going to go through. And so it was fine with me because they've supposedly got a good good reputation, and got me a quote. So $700 eenies, and I can have all of those pieces parts coming to my door.
That's everything, not just the shaft.
It's everything.
Oh, well, that's nice. I was like, $700 just for a drive shaft? Jesus. But
I was thinking when he sent me a quote, that's why
That would be
that's why I
cheap.
sent him back too. That's why I sent him back too. I was like, is that just the shaft? Because like the yokes are $200 a piece.
yeah.
ouch.
Yeah.
No idea. I had
They're
no
not cheap.
idea.
They're not cheap. And so he's like, no, that's everything. Like ready to go. I'm like, baller.
So that's a new double cardan setup too, then. Yeah.
Yep. So that's everything I need to get to 1310s or
When
1350s.
does it show up?
As soon as I have an extra $700 to let go of.
Okay.
Soonish.
And maybe, just maybe, if the stars align,
Yes.
the Jeep won't vibrate next time you drive it on the interstate.
That'd be wonderful. I don't see it happening, but
Even though I think it's a rear drive shaft, all new rear drive shaft, still vibrates. $700 later.
then we will cut the perches off the axle. We'll put the new perches on the axle, and we'll go from there.
Go rotatey.
Yeah, we'll rotate it up a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the goal there. So that was something we talked about in last week's podcast. So Chris did get me a quote on the drive shaft. If you guys need any parts for your rigs, make sure you check out Chris at Complete Off-Road. And we're going to talk about them in last call as well. 563-583-5363. Make sure you call Chris if you need something. He wants to talk to you. Review stickers are still available, right? You still got some more?
Yep.
Have we gotten any new reviews?
Not that I've seen.
I didn't see any 3 or 4-star review stickers. What's up with that, guys?
Well, we're not giving out free review stickers for shitty reviews.
Why would I? Hold on. No, that's fine. Like,
I'm not.
If you give me a 1-star review, you still give me a review.
Yeah. Well,
I'll still send you a sticker.
It's just strange that they all have 5 stars on them.
You're just going to get a Sharpie. You have to get a Sharpie and marker them out. If you don't, if you think it's a 1-star podcast, you just got to marker out the stars.
That's funny. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. They're black,
I'm not going to advertise my podcast as a 1-star podcast.
Yep.
Okay.
Especially for free.
Yep.
Sorry, I just love the 5-star stickers, and I have to give you shit about them.
5-star. So yeah, we have some more of those stickers. All you gotta do is go leave us not a 5-star. You go leave us a review about the podcast, and then shoot us a message and let us know that you left a review. Take a screenshot, and I'll get Ian on shipping you out a sticker. It may take a while.
He's like, we will. And he's like, wait, no. Make Ian do it. So 1 to 2 months.
Those are pretty easy to do. You just put them in an envelope.
Yeah, put them in an envelope, ship them out. They're not terrible. No. But we got to give you a discount code for the website so you can go get one, and then everything's in there.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to tell you guys that those are still available. There are still some left. So make sure that you get your Total Off-Road Podcast 5-star review sticker because it's special. Right?
It'll make your rig special if you put it on your rig.
It will, yeah. I'm looking right now to see if there is any new reviews.
Where do people review you guys? Like on Google?
You can review us on iTunes, and you can review us on some apps.
Apple Podcasts.
I think Spotify might have reviews now. I'm not sure.
I didn't know.
So you can leave a review if you've got Podcast Addict. Mm-hmm. So like
I heard of that one.
Yep, that's the one your wife uses.
That's right.
If you have that, you can get reviews on there. And you can also leave reviews on Apple. So that is one of those things.
Gotcha.
Whatever platform.
It's not super easy. It's not as easy as it should be, being that podcasters mainstream as they are, but it's still, you still can do it.
It's possible and appreciated. It
is possible. Even if you have an Android, it is possible to leave a review, and it's very appreciated. What else do I have on my list here of things we need to talk about? So we talked to Full Size Mike about Snow Day. And what you got there? Oh, yeah, winches.
We had mentioned
winches,
maybe touching on winches today.
Yeah. Seemed like the main was definitely about me going wheeling because I just draw stories. That's what I do. I want to make sure there's some things that I was like wanting to get to. Oh my God.
Hey, wait, you never told us about how you jumped the XJ?
I didn't jump the XJ. And that's another thing on here is bushings for Loki. So I walked out to Loki yesterday. I parked it in the back in the side yard, and it's kind of turned at an angle, and I left the wheels kind of turned. Like I backed it in, and then I just like got out and just like I had shit to do. Mm-hmm. And so I went out there and was kind of looking. I was like, well, the tire's leaning. Like it's leaning in a way that's like it's turned and like has like mad camber. So I'm like, oh well, it's just a caster, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that seems like a lot more caster than what I'm like used to seeing on that thing. And so I kind of looked at it. I was like, whatever, you know, probably just the 40s and they're aired down. It just kind of looks funny. And then I went out there today and I was looking at it again. I was like, well, that sure does look like a lot of caster. Oh, it's just both sides too. Like the passenger side was leaning like negative camber and the driver's side had positive camber.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, because like, but it was turned. The wheels were turned, you know, so that's what causes that when you have caster.
I get you.
But I'm like, that seems excessive. And I start looking at it a little bit closer. I'm like, well, that pinion angle looks like it's in the dirt. I start looking a little bit. I'm like, is there something broken? No, nothing broken. Can I get anything? Start really digging in, looking closer. Yeah, the top axle bushings are washed out.
There's like hardly anything left.
Yeah, there's hardly anything left. That's why that has all that wrap.
Oh, yeah.
Those
that's
bushings
bad.
are trashed.
Yeah. I should probably get on that.
I did.
Oh, did you already fix it?
Yeah.
Wow, that was fast.
I didn't fix it, but I called the guy to fix it. I called on the phone, called Chris again. He's like, wow, 2 times in one day.
No kidding.
Because I called him earlier in the day to talk about something. I don't remember what it was now. It was about getting a quote, a ballpark quote that was a little more dialed in than what we had earlier talked about. And so, and then I called him back. I was like, hey, remember those Synergy bushings, those dual durometers we bought last year? He's like, yeah. I was like, I need to set for the top now. So we put them on the lowers, and they're super nice.
Oh, nice.
Tight, just great feel. So he was looking in to see if they had some, found 2 of them in Denver. He's like, I'm going to call them and make sure they can put hands on those before we order them and them not have them. So he's supposed to be getting on that. And so he's going to order new bushings for the top. He already sent me those new Johnnies for the top. So once those bushings come in, I'm going to rebuild those upper links with Johnnies, and that'll hold me through until I buy a 3-link.
Should be good.
Yeah, should be good. Should be good.
Be nice and tight. A little bit less axle wrap should help.
It'd be so nice if it doesn't have wrap on the front axle.
It'll be so nice you won't even want to do the 3-link. You'll be like, what do I need this for?
I'll get it eventually. It's fine. So yeah. So I need new bushings. So you were saying like, yeah, did you do any jumps? Like, that's a good thing I didn't. There
you might have lost
no
something
bushings
there.
left. I was kind of racing back to that road is pretty smooth back to the main road, like back to the parking lots. So we were running along pretty good, like 20, 25 mile an hour down that. And I was like, yeah, try not to hit too many whoops in it.
Bouncing along.
Yeah, bouncing along, front axle just sitting there flopping.
Wobbly.
I found something really cool last week. I don't even want to tell you guys about it because it's so cool.
You want to save it all for yourself?
Yeah, because of what I'm going to do with it is going to be so cool. So
just don't tell them what you're going to do with it.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I was looking for a thing. I was like, surely in 2021, we have to make this thing must exist. What I need is a relay that I can trigger remotely. I need a remote relay. I'm like, where?
What do you need that for first?
When you say remote, do you mean like wireless?
I need a wireless relay.
Okay, why?
Like from a key fob type of?
From my phone.
What?
I need a Bluetooth relay. And I'm like, surely in 2021, this has to be a thing. And guess what?
Well, it is.
I was right.
But like, why?
Well, I can't tell you because then I'm letting the secret out.
Oh.
Should I tell you anyway?
You should tell us, but not the listeners. They don't need to know.
They don't need to know?
No, they don't like. They don't even want to know.
Maybe I should share it with... No?
No, they're probably like, this is boring. I don't want to listen anymore.
Trigger One makes a Bluetooth relay. It's not cheap, but it is solid state.
So within 30 feet of your whatever.
I have no idea. Yeah, probably 30 feet.
That's the thing is you got to be close. So
I don't know what the distance is.
Well, I mean, think about Bluetooth. I mean, how long is... If it's a clear path, maybe 40 feet, 50 feet.
Which is fine for what I'm going to use it for.
Still, okay.
I don't know if it has a distance. Surely it does, right?
I mean, it's just like anything Bluetooth,
30 amp.
right?
Yeah, like anything.
It depends on how good the signal is on your phone and how good the receiver is on the relay.
Right.
So anyhow,
it's in indefinite distance. It's run through the. It's like a phone call.
Okay, sure. You can do it from China.
Yeah, you can do it from China.
Trigger One Racing, you said?
No, just Trigger One.
Oh, just Trigger One. Okay.
Trigger One. Yep. They make a Bluetooth relay, and you can, and with their app, you can control up to 6 different relays. So you have 6 different relays on your vehicle, and you control each one of them. So they're mostly made for lights.
Yeah.
So you can like turn your lights on from a distance or whatever. Sure. And it has like a dimming feature in the app. You can actually dim the lights. So because it's a solid state relay, so it's gone through, it's not just a switch.
So they're not rated for a ton of amps.
30 amps.
Oh, I mean, that's quite a bit.
Yeah. So, I was like, this is exactly what I need. So do I tell them or no?
If it's not going to be like party lights, like
it's not party lights. It's not rock lights. It's not lights at all.
It's party lights. So you can be like standing in the campground and be like, guys, look at my Jeep. My Jeep does cool stuff. And then turns on the stereo and the lights. And
yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that I've heard about that before from a phone. So that's what I picture when you say this.
Yeah. So I have a winch that doesn't have a remote control.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
I vote
But if I had,
I see where you're going now.
I vote for no on that.
Why?
How good's the lag? Or is there lag on that?
Almost 0 from what I saw on YouTube. It was really quick. He clicked the button and it was like, boop, the light turned on instantly.
Honestly, though, my Smitty built that's wireless is not great at like 40, 50 feet. It's like, you hit it and like there's like a 2-3 second delay. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is made for this. It came with it.
Yeah, it works, but it's not great.
Yeah.
So my thing is that I hardwired my switch into my dash for my winch. And the other day, after we pulled the frame off, last week I was talking about pulling the frame off with the winch. If I don't have anybody there to help me, I can't roll my line back up. Like I guess I could hook it to a tree, but it's not going to go on. It's not going to weave on nicely.
Well, you definitely should. A wireless controller is super nice, or even a wired one that you can run outside, but only inside. Right. Not great.
Yeah,
or just buy a wireless controller for a winch.
But he's saying that that's basically what that is.
Where do I get a wireless controller for any winch?
Harbor Freight.
A rando controller.
Yeah, you just wire it in.
Where's it at? Like, how do I buy this by itself?
You click the buy button. You walk to the store.
And they sell a controller that is wireless.
Yeah, I have one from a trailer.
Then they don't sell not just a winch.
No, it's just a controller.
Just a controller.
Plugs in. It's a little box you mount up in there, and then
but it's got a little universal.
Yeah, as long as the plugs is the same on the winch.
I guess that could be
the same.
That could be a tricky part. You might have to do a little ingenuity, but
or I buy two relays, stuff them underneath the hood of this thing, and call it a day.
How much are the relays?
$46 a piece.
Yeah.
Wait, $46 and that's one function?
Yeah.
But you can control up to 6 with the app?
You can get 6 relays, yeah.
46. I mean, that's kind of expensive.
They're kind of expensive, but they're Bluetooth. I mean, they're kind of cool. I mean, it's cool that you can just use your phone.
It is neat, but also I don't want to have my phone out if I'm winching.
No.
That's just me. Like, I'm just worried I'm going to like drop it or hit it on something, or like if I'm on a hill and I drop it and it goes tumbling.
It would be handy though.
I mean, it's a neat idea. I like the idea.
It was a solution for me.
It's better than not having it.
So the thing you're talking about from Harbor Freight is the actual top box control.
No,
it's an extra thing. He's going to look it up and show it to me. Part number, please. So yeah, that's what that was like. So I looked that up to like find that for that reason. Because I was like, dude, I'll just put two relays in there, and then I won't have to change the controller that's inside. Because it'll already be in there. You know what I mean? It'll be integrated inside the winch itself. And they're solid state, so they're not like exposed. Okay. What the hell is that?
It's $2 less than your relay.
It's just a box that you mount under, like up there, that plugs into the winch. And it's a wireless button.
It's on Summit.
Well, I just clicked the first picture that came up that looks just like the one I have on my trailer.
What kind of winch do you have?
$43.99. Huh? Tough Stuff.
Who the heck is that?
What?
Exactly.
Oh, you need to buy a new winch.
Well, that would be an ideal thing to do, but mine still does work currently. You
just buy a new winch that has a wireless controller already with it. Good to go.
Why is it that Derek didn't buy something like that when he was wanting a wireless for his Warn?
Oh, because probably the Warn version of that probably costs 17 times more.
I think the problem was that Warn didn't release it yet.
Warn
they're making it. They didn't have it released.
It wasn't good enough for them, and so they wouldn't release it. Where Smitty built's like, it works ish.
Yeah.
No, I've bought a Warn wireless controller before. It's a little dongle that plugs on the top of the winch, and it's the same thing. There's one right here.
I wonder why Derek didn't buy one then.
$200. I don't know. He was saying something about like he had they didn't have one available. I thought.
I remember. Oh, but he did just get a new. What, brand Xeon? New. Is that the fancy Warn?
Maybe a brand new 12,000 pound winch, I think.
Maybe for that one they hadn't developed it yet or something.
Interesting. I don't. Yeah, that's.
But I remember that conversation that he was saying I would have got one, but yeah.
Or maybe they were working on something new and fanciful. It's probably a Wi-Fi. It's not even Wi-Fi. It's like you send an email and it's like, oh, you need a winch.
You send a fax to your winch. It loads the page and the winch is like, okay, is this what we're doing? How many feet you want?
Yes, 3 feet. Line in. It's an old school technology.
Oh my God.
Works every time.
Warn actually makes a wireless receiver for their truck winches that is Bluetooth.
So how much is that one?
I don't fucking know.
Oh, you don't have a picture. You don't have a thing of that. He doesn't have it.
Okay, so the moral of the story here is that
I found some cool Bluetooth relays.
Warren's already doing it.
Yeah.
So how bad of an idea is it?
Great idea.
Maybe it's a great idea.
I mean, it'll work.
If Warren's doing it,
but they're not doing it with a relay. They're doing it with a controller.
Same thing.
Okay, that's another question. So say I have a Smitty Bolt with a wireless controller. Is that Bluetooth?
I mean,
like we don't know what the technology is.
Or Wi-Fi.
But it's one or the other.
Not. I guess it could be radio control.
Like I just don't know.
RF signal because you have to be so close. Yeah.
God, if it's RF signal, if it's 2.4 gigahertz, you should be able to do that from
$15
for a mile away. Yeah.
So wait, let's
Bluetooth wireless Warn controller, $115.
You know how easy it would be to make a 2.4 gigahertz radio setup. Like, yeah, you can do that thing.
So easy.
You can do it from so far away.
Yep.
So far
That's
away.
what
You can literally
it would be
get.
instant.
And the funny thing is, a lot of the new receivers will run off of like a 3-cell LiPo. So like
Oh my
it's
God.
basically 12 volts.
Yeah.
So you could literally just get a
Oh my
cheap
God.
RC, just whatever
Receiver.
generic 2.4 gigahertz radio with receiver. Make that receiver do whatever you want.
And you're only controlling your solenoid, and it's low amperage.
Yeah. I mean,
my
receivers
God.
can control servos that make like they can lift like 5-10 pounds.
If it's a receiver for a brushed motor car,
Mhm.
you just use the wires for the motor. Then
You
you literally
could.
just have your RC remote and just line in, line out, line in, line out. Oh my God!
I guess you could. I'm
How
trying
could
to
you
think how
not?
that would work. I mean, like more or less, the receiver sends a signal to the speed control, and that's what controls the motor.
Well, I mean,
so
yeah. Okay, so you have the receiver and the speed control. Yeah, and you just have your motor wires just go to your winch setup. Bro,
Would that-
so stupid easy.
maybe that would be that easy. I'm trying to think of the logistics between the receiver
You just have to have an antenna hanging out of the.
and not even really.
No, not
I
even
think
really.
there's definitely a way to do that. I'm not sure how, but
Oh my, that sounds so easy right now.
you just be
Like,
walking
me
around with an
thinking about that.
RC controller to
Yeah, you just
bring
have
your
an
winch in.
ESC.
Yeah.
You just mount an ESC and a receiver underneath the hood of the winch controller, and you wire that straight to the. There's already power in the head of the winch. You just wire the 12 volt right to the receiver.
I guess
and
that's a
thing
good point.
every time. And like, yeah,
So the ESC goes to the
Oh my
solenoid
God. yeah,
because the ESC is rated for plenty of amps to do that.
oh yeah,
To
Oh,
control
yeah, to control
solenoid,
solenoid, yeah.
and just like one way is positive, one way flips, literally
Oh my-
reverses the voltage
Yeah,
to go the other way.
You just have your controller for your RC.
In out.
Your throttle for your RC controllers, you're in and out. You could literally do it from like
And you would have
hundreds of yards away.
no lag,
Zero lag.
like a millisecond
Yeah.
maybe, and you could do it from a mile away.
Oh my God.
Well, that was a great 20-minute conversation on running your winch from 3 miles away from your shit. Great.
You're not going to get hit by winch line.
Good Lord. I'm like, they make that. It's a fucking thing. It plugs in the hole. You push the button.
Is it as fast as the RC controller?
It
not as
works
good.
for everyone out there in the world.
No.
They work
Yeah.
okay.
Mike says he's got one and it stops at like 50 feet and it's
How
laggy.
far away do you need to be from your vehicle
Well,
when
not
you're doing
only-
winching?
It's a
Okay,
100-foot
not-
rope.
Not only the distance, but also the lag.
The lag, yes.
Even if you're close to it,
That's-
sometimes it's got lag, and you're like, "Well, I'm already all the way in, and it's still like trying
That's
to pull
why
it."
I don't use wireless remotes. I mean, you got it's a
Oh, boy.
trade-off.
Here we go.
I don't know.
How do you spool it in on your own?
You push a button.
Mine's integrated into the dash.
So I
have
have
no buttons.
Mine's wired into the dash.
Yeah.
And then I have another
Separate one.
controller
Yeah.
that I just unplug and plug in, and I stand out there and can run it.
It sounds
And it's
good.
done.
Except for the company that makes mine doesn't make mine anymore.
Well, I don't, you need a winch from the 18th plus century, and you'd be
18th
good. I've
plus.
never heard of tough. What did you say? Tough stuff winches.
I guess they're still in business. They are a huge overland company now.
Oh
But
boy!
when I bought it, it was off of eBay. It was
So,
like,
in other words, they don't work; they're just for show.
Yeah, it's a show winch.
I'll tell you what,
it just
that-
looks like a winch. It doesn't
that
actually
show
do anything.
winch-
It's plastic.
Fake,
show winch.
fake wireless controllers, just a hollow
Bluetooth,
shell.
It's a Bluetooth winch.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh my god! that'd be-
Bluetooth winch cable.
how wonderful would that be though if I put those relays in there and it's a Bluetooth winch.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean,
It's my,
technically,
it's
yeah.
my Bluetooth winch. I bought that winch off of eBay in 2009.
Wow.
It's been mounted on the front motor of that Jeep ever since. It's never lived a day of its life in the garage. Well, except for the month it spent at your house, which it still got rained on.
That's true. It does rain in my shop.
And that thing still works. The only complaint I have about it is the brake is not extra strong. It could use a better brake.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of projects you have going on. Like maybe
Oh, yeah.
as long as the winch is still working, maybe put that way on the back burner.
I just wanted
As
to be,
much as I would love
it
to.
was a matter of the other day. I wanted to spool my winch in, so I put the line back on because my winch rope is just hanging wrapped around the bumper right now.
I saw that in that
Why
photo
can't-
you on Instagram. I was like, what the fuck is he doing?
I can't reel it back in without somebody helping me,
That's funny.
and I forgot to do it at the park.
You tie it to a tree and then sit there.
But then it's like all in one spot. Usually, it bunches
That's
up.
true.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
want.
it's really
I want
better to.
I want it
walk
properly
it.
spooled so I can put my
Mm.
cover back on it. So
That makes sense.
yeah, and that was the deal. So that's my Bluetooth winch conversation about those cool new Trigger One Bluetooth relays. If you need a Bluetooth relay for something, Trigger One makes it.
Well, you'd better buy one right now because as soon as this podcast airs, there aren't going to be any left.
You're right. I should go buy one.
I'm just saying, everyone's going to be like, I'm doing that too.
Another update from last week's podcast. Ian told me that when I SAS my crew cab, that it's going to be at least 2 to 3 inches taller than I anticipate.
Yep.
Agree.
I took the tape measure to all of the parts. And the way it looks right now, it will not move any inches. It could not move any inches from where it's at right now and sufficiently hold the Super Duty 60 under it.
False.
No.
Okay. You want to bet? You want to bet
all
on it?
the measurements.
Okay. And
So we're gonna
that's what everybody does with an SAS swap.
Mm-hmm.
They measure everything, and then it literally is always taller. Every time.
It shouldn't be.
Every time.
We'll go measure your truck.
There's
all 4
plenty of
fenders
room.
to the ground.
Yep.
There's plenty of room. I measured the axle tube. No, I measured from the center of the axle
To the fender.
to the tire on the chassis. So the Dana 60, I measured from the ground to the center of the axle tube on the Dana 60. Okay, so I knew what that measurement was. And then I measured from the center of the axle tube to the top of the diff on the Dana 60. So I knew how much clearance there was there. Then I went underneath the crew cab and I measured from the ground to the center of the tire, which is what that ground clearance would be. And then I measured from there to where that pumpkin, the top of the pumpkin would be. And I got that measurement. That measurement puts it about 2 inches below the oil pan. Then I measured from the center of the crew cab, like the center point between the frame rails. And I measured the center on the differential on the 60. And where the diff is going to sits, it's great. The small block Chevy in the crew cab sits off to the passenger side about 1.5 inches or 2 inches. And the diff fits perfectly between the frame rail and the oil pan.
Wow.
So even if the truck was lowered like 4 inches, the diff still won't hit the oil pan or the frame rail.
I mean, if you get that all packaged like that and it actually all fits.
According to every measurement, because I went back and forth just like one time after another, like checking all these measurements. I'm like, this should all fit perfect. The only thing I'm going to have a hard time with is that if I use the factory spring bucket from the Ford, it's not long enough to mount to the frame and be as low as I want it to be. So I have to modify that to some degree.
Okay, well, that doesn't sound too bad.
Doesn't sound
You have
terrible.
to cut the springs or something. Well, then again, you're going to be on air anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Eventually. But how it would be very convenient if I built the truck around the factory Ford front coils, then like factory front Ford shocks will work and like all of that stuff.
All that makes sense.
Mhm.
And I kind of get what Ian's saying, because like even if you do all the planning and you're like, I can make it as low as it is, I feel like when you actually do it, it's going to be much taller than that.
Well, the thing is, I want it to be 2 inches taller than it is right now. And at its current ride height with the solid axle, it should all fit perfect. It won't hit the frame. Like it's got like 6 inches of clearance to the frame from the axle tube to the frame. Like we should be in good shape. So when I lift it 2 inches, we should be solid. So I just got to weight down the front of the F-250 chassis to get the right amount of weight on it to make sure the springs are compressed. And then I got to measure that.
Just find any F-250 that has
that's a solid idea.
That has a truck on it.
I have to find a 6.2 gasser. A 6.2 CNG, technically.
Jesus.
That's what that truck was, a CNG truck.
I mean, you could probably get pretty close just going to the Ford dealership.
Yeah. Just go find something close.
Yeah.
They get you close enough.
Close enough.
Then you're 3 inches too tall. Oh, damn it.
That's going to happen anyway, so.
Yep.
Ain't that big a deal. Just move it around. Just cut the coils. It's fine.
That'll be a fun project. Is that going to start at all this year? Or?
I don't know yet.
Not sure.
We'll see. Depends on how much extra fundage I have. Right now, 0.
Well, you still haven't helped me move the van out of the way, so it's still in your parking spot right now.
My parking spot? Oh, to get all my stuff done for Loki? I don't see that.
I don't know which thing you're going to do. I mean, I offered up the space, but I don't know. Are you cutting the roof off and doing a cage? Are you doing something Loki? Are you doing a solid axle swap?
What project are you going to start
When is that? Oh, oh my God, that's in 4 days.
Well, I got the front end off the van and I got the hump out, but I haven't got
this Friday.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna have that
There's
van out of your way by then.
That.
Sorry,
I was thinking more along the lines of we can cut the roof off in the driveway. That's easy.
True.
It was more of the weather this week is going to destroy my polishing schedule. So I don't know what I'm going to be doing Friday night when the cavalry rolls into town. We'll see.
Apparently not building a cage.
Probably not building a cage since I didn't buy any tube yet.
Oh man, you're really far behind if you're trying to get shit done.
Well, we could cut the roof off the KJ, although it'll be raining.
They make tarps. We talked about it.
Fact.
You want to roll this into last call?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, let's roll into last call.
We didn't at all talk about winch like anything.
No, we talked nothing
winches.
about winches except for Bluetoothing them.
Yep.
Did you want to talk about winches?
No, I
we
mean,
can. We got last call for that.
All right.
I had so many notes to talk about.
Oh, when you talk about last call, do you just immediately
drink a beer?
I mean, but as far as recording wise, do you just edit this out or did he hit stop or what is
No,
this?
he didn't do anything.
No.
He just sat there and stared at me and talked to me like, oh,
I didn't know if we were going
winches?
to talk about winches before, like while we were still talking about winches.
We can.
Okay.
Jeremy Wilson on the Trail Riders page was asking about winches for his, because he wanted to buy a new winch for the JK, and he was asking about winches on there, like how big, like what size winch should you buy for your vehicle? So what size winch is on yours, on your truck?
10,000 pounds Smittybilt X2O.
On your full size.
On my full size rig, which
That
weighs
is lighter.
around 6,000 pounds.
I was going to say it's a little bit lighter than his JK.
Yeah. I think with me and tools in it and a spare, it's about 6,000.
What's your buggy weigh?
It's like 5,000, I think.
What'd you
Somewhere
put
there.
on it?
It's a 9,500 pound on the front and the rear.
I have got a generic 12,000 pound on the front of Loki. And the only complaint I have is it's slow and it's big.
It's also from like 35 years ago.
It's also from 35 years ago.
That Smittybilt is pretty awesome. I mean, it actually has really nice line speed.
Yeah.
I will say I was pulling a Jeep that was like completely buried in mud, like up to the top of the tires. And it did pull it out, but it was very slow.
They were talking about some winch that I'd never even heard about. Do you guys know which one it was?
No.
I don't think it's going to be in my...
Was it Ingo?
Was it Ingo? Yeah.
Or Engo? I feel like that's kind of a high-end winch, maybe?
Ingo winch. No,
Someone
like
was telling me that they're good.
They're made in USA, I guess.
Maybe it was Derek before I bought one. He was like, you should really check out Ingo. They make really good stuff. I feel like, well, I mean, that was a conversation we had before I bought my winch. So long ago.
Somebody was saying that they're like made in the USA. Over 30 years experience, bringing you only the best. Components and a 1-year warranty on a limited lifetime on the mechanical components and a 1-year warranty on electrical components. Winches range from 3,000 pounds to 12,000 pounds, and they just look like a generic, like they just look like your run-of-the-mill winch, I guess I would say. Damn it. This phone's garbage. I click the back button and it goes back. No, isn't that ridiculous?
Yep.
They got a 10,000 pound here with a steel cable for $469. What does this say? Oh my god, what the hell is this? A 10,000 pound 12 volt electric winch with pressure washer.
What?
What?
What are you doing?
It has a pressure washer on it.
What in the actual fuck is that?
I have no idea.
Like you just wash what? I
run your line in
I
and
can't.
then wash your shit.
I can't.
What the hell?
I can't explain that.
Okay, I don't even know what that is. Anyway, on to the next thing. Here's their here's another one. This is a 10,000 pound SR series winch, steel cable with roller fair lead controller and 4-gauge leads, $369. That's pretty cheap.
It's not bad.
Yeah. What's a synthetic one? Here is a synthetic 10,000 pound, their SRS series with synthetic rope and aluminum hose for $519.
It's about what a Smittybilt costs.
Yeah, and it's a nice looking winch. It looks about like a Smittybilt or a Warren.
Yeah, not bad.
Looks similar. What do you think, Ian?
Who's this? An Ingo?
That's an Ingo.
Okay.
Yeah, ENGO is Ingo.
Looks like it has a wired controller. Boo.
Every time I click on something, like every time I try to move on something, it clicks on it. Now, how do I go back from here, you little shit?
Maybe the site isn't designed to be mobile.
Right?
I'm just saying it happens these days
surprise.
regularly.
Yeah, like really? Get with the times. I don't know what any of the specs are on these. Here's an XRS series, the synthetics, $599. Here's a 10,000 pound steel cable for $469. Like, you can buy them pretty cheap. Here's a 16,000 pound. This is what you need, Jeremy. They're E series, $499 steel cable. Good to go. 16,000 pound rated.
That's plenty for you.
That'll almost drag your pig out of the dirt. I was telling Jeremy that I was like, go with like a 95 or 10, like a 10K. I was telling him like go with a 10K Warren. Like they're fairly affordable. Like they're fairly cheap. They're like $600-700. And
why a Warren though?
I don't know, because you get that Warren name.
But
Because he's got a JK?
Yeah.
Fact,
But
he's got a JK, and I'm pretty sure he's sporting a Bubba Rope. At least has Bubba Rope soft shackles and like recovery. Some of the
better
recovery
not
gear.
have Bubba Rope products. It should have crawler off-road.
He should have crawler off-road
products.
products, but I'm like, if you're spending Bubba Rope money, you should spend it on the winch, not on the rope.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have a JK and not put a Warren on there,
I
right?
think he might have won it, but still.
Still.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It was one of those things of like, I don't know, like it's Warren, right?
I don't
Because
know.
it's Warren.
I mean, okay.
I don't know.
but,
That's my only thing on
It's
that.
like
where's a
Warren?
Warren winch made?
China.
Where's a Smitty built winch
In
made?
China.
So what's the difference?
The spec sheet.
Okay, hold on.
You know?
Maybe we could have this argument about Yukon. I was like, put some Yukon gears in it. Ian, why would you go Yukon? We'd be like,
Yep.
they make good gears.
Yep.
Yeah, but what's USA standard gear? Yukon.
Yukon.
Where
Yep.
they make them in the same place as Yukon gears? What are they? Oh, they're just the same gears in a different box.
Yep.
Well, they didn't meet the specs.
They didn't meet the same standards,
Yep.
but they're pretty damn close.
Yeah, and that's what who was it? Zach Kleckner that was saying that he had tore down his Smitty. Was it a Smitty built? I think he said he tore down a Smitty
Yeah,
built.
and there's worn parts
and worn
inside
parts
of
inside
it.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Built in the same place. You just get the ones that didn't quite meet Warren's specifications.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
It's a real thing.
But
Oh,
that's
it
what I
definitely
mean.
is.
That's why
And that's how you get cheaper parts. Is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there's parts that don't meet spec. Like somebody's got to
It's-
use them.
It's not literally just the Warren logo on the box.
Yeah.
It actually makes a difference.
So, with that said, I've in that same scenario, Mike will tell you about this. You buy a headlight from the dealership.
Oh, yeah. I love this.
You buy a headlight from the dealership. It is different. It's a Phillips headlight, part number blah 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 blah. And you go to the parts store and buy the same Phillips headlight, same part number, but it's not the same headlight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a different line of their
It's a
headlights.
different line.
Mhm.
Same part
I
number.
would never have known.
Yep.
Same
So-
box.
Yep.
Same everything.
I'll tell the story just real quick.
Yep.
Okay, my wife's Yaris at about 120,000 miles had a headlight go out. And I think it was either Phillips or Sylvania. I can't remember which.
Yep.
Either way, I bought the same, or so I thought,
Mhm.
bulb at the parts store.
Yep.
And about, I don't know, 5,000-10,000 miles, headlight went out.
Same one.
Same, well, I replaced both.
Oh, you pushed the other one.
Because
Okay.
I was like, why not?
Yeah.
One goes out, 5,000-10,000 miles. I'm like, what the hell? It's the same bulb. Like the case, everything
Mhm.
about these bulbs was the same except for one I got across the street and one I got at the Toyota dealership that I work at.
Yep.
And even at my cost, they were expensive, like $20+ a bulb.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, but it's the same. Why would I spend $20 when I spend $20 for repair?
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck it. I go to the parts counter. I'm like, give me $50 worth of bulbs.
Mhm.
And they do. And that car has 205,000 miles and I still haven't replaced a headlight bulb again. So, I mean,
And it's the A parts, A grade parts or something
there's,
like that.
I don't know if A line or A grade
Yeah.
or whatever it is, but yeah, that bulb.
They make they get
Insane.
the top. Yeah. So like, yeah, same thing. And then like back in the day when I had my Dana 30 under my Jeep and Matt had his Dana 30 under his Jeep, we were going through wheel bearings every 3 to 6 months. And like I was on 33s, I think at that point. Man, I might have been on 36s. Either way, nonetheless, we were going through brand new parts house wheel bearings, like left and right. And they were about $100 a wheel bearing. But like you were under warranty, you're going through them that fast, they're under warranty.
Sure. But still
After going
irritating as
through-
shit, replacing them all the time.
Yep. After going through several of these, we go to the parts house one day. I think it was O'Reilly's that we went to this time. We'd bought them from several places in town. And we go in there and we're talking to one of the guys that works there. And he's like, why don't you guys buy these Nationals for $150? It's like, because I don't want to spend the extra $50 on a bearing that's going to go bad in a couple weeks. He's like, no. He's like, the premium ones are tighter tolerances than the cheaper low grade ones. Like their bearing tolerances, all the tolerances are tighter. And we're like, okay. And so Matt bought a pair and it was the last pair of bearings he ever put in that Jeep.
Isn't that
Like 4
crazy?
years. Like $50, never change a wheel bearing again for 4 years or save $100 on the pair and change them every 3 to 6 months.
You're going to pay now or later. You pick.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and so like, that's where that is for me where the brand does start to make a little bit of a difference. And I'm not saying anything against,
But you're not buying an
Any others?
OEM winch versus a non-OEM winch. I mean, that's just a
but
little difference.
are you buying a higher standard part standard?
Are you?
I don't know.
Does Warren make a cheaper winch and puts a Warren logo on it? And
Wouldn't surprise me a bit.
because it says Warren, you're like, fuck yeah, it's the best.
God
I mean,
damn right.
the cheap
is it
ones
though?
are about $550.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's still more than I paid the features. It was like I could get
Yep.
base model worn that would just do the job with a steel cable and a wired remote for $50 more than a Smitty built that's completely waterproof, synthetic rope, aluminum hawse, wireless controller. Like it's just, and I think it even was rated to do more, and it had a faster line speed. So it was like every single feature is better, but it doesn't say worn on it.
And you haven't had a problem with it yet.
No, other than a little bit of lag with the wireless controller, it just works.
Which Warren may have the same.
That's true.
Yeah, we don't know. Did in the bottom dollar Warren you were looking at probably didn't even have a wireless.
No, it was wired.
Yeah, wired
steel, just base model.
Was, it's just one of those things. I was like, hey, if you're going to spend the dollars, I mean, if you're buying a new winch. But I know the Smitty builds do make it. Like the Smitty built winches are a nice winch.
Well, and I think the Badlands winches are a nice winch. I've used them. I've seen them.
They
They're
do the
slow.
job. Yeah,
they work.
The
then
Badlands,
they quit.
The old
but
school,
the price,
yeah. I don't know about the new Apex. A lot of people are saying that they like that one a lot. But the old school Badlands winch is like if you set it side by side with my Tough Stuff, like they're twins.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Just made in the same place, different label.
That's my guess. Like they are sitting side by side. They're twins.
I mean,
funny.
I come from an industry where
I don't love my winch. It works.
You get two different machines that are painted different colors with different brand names on them. And I get operators all the time that like, that thing's a piece of shit. I like this brand.
Yeah.
They're the same machine.
Yeah.
They're made the same factory.
Painted
they're
differently. In the same factory, different paint. One says Cat, one says JLG, but they're the same.
Yeah.
Now this one works. It's so much smoother. They're the same.
There's nothing different that is in your head.
Nope.
The seat of your pants down is lying to you.
Yeah, literally the same.
You like that color paint better, so it makes you feel like it's better.
No, it's got the Cat name on it.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
and it's all in your mind.
Yep.
And I mean, so I come from that, and I
that
just
totally could be the case.
I don't know. It's I don't know enough to be like I'd buy Warren. Period. Nothing. Do they make a good winch? Yeah, they do.
I wonder if Project Farm ever took apart a couple of winches. Wouldn't that be great? He just blows them apart. Like, let's see what's better. He wouldn't take them apart. He'd just load test them.
AVE on YouTube.
AVE?
AVE.
Never heard of it.
If he did one, oh my God, it'd be wonderful. He does like tool stuff where he like buys like the Harbor Freight tools and stuff like that and tears them down like completely apart and like, I don't know. It's entertaining to say the least. If you guys don't follow, I'm pretty sure it's AVE is the name of the channel, but that dude like knows too much. That's for sure.
Now, but yeah, so the basically back to the winch. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's and then it got brought up with well, how big do you buy a winch? Like, do you buy a 17,000 pound winch for your Jeep? Go ahead if you want to. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Why not?
I think it's like when it comes to like size, I was telling him, he was like, well, you want one big enough to pull. And this was like our discussion or whatever. He's like, you want one big enough to pull, the Jeep out of a mud hole or whatever, if you're stuck, you want to have, and he was like coming up with a ratio of like 1.5 or 2 times the weight of your vehicle.
Yep.
So like a 12 would be 2 times the weight of his vehicle.
Yep.
And which that is probably fine. I told him, I was like, just pick up a 10. And like, if you come to a scenario where your winch won't pull you out, which is pretty rare, I would say, you got to be really stuck. You double your line over the snatch block and throw a line to the tree.
Now you got a 20,000 pound winch.
And now you have a 20,000 pound winch.
And if that's not enough, then you're done. It lives there. Leave the title on the dash.
Then you grab your second snatch block.
You get your helicopter.
Yeah, and I was just telling him, I was like, yeah, you just, double over your line and then use a snatch block. I mean, it's slower, but at that point, I'm like,
at that point, you're trying to get
extraction. It's an extraction thing. Yeah. I don't know. And I don't know what the size difference is, like from a 10,000 to a 12,000, but like,
obviously packaging can be an issue too.
Yeah, packaging can be an issue. I think his winch is on the front bumper.
He might be okay, but yeah, still.
But like, yeah, it's extra. Is it heavier? I don't know. Maybe. It's definitely heavier if you got steel up front, steel cable. Like the difference in a steel cable winch to a synthetic winch is like a little scary. I was like, wow, that cable's pretty heavy.
That's no joke. Whereas the synthetic cable's like nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, nothing at all. So, extra weight up front. That's a steel versus synthetic.
So here's
Mitch
the other
beating his head against the wall.
Here's the other thing that I think is very underrated in winches when people start talking about what size winch to run. Where do you get your max pull on a winch as far as how many wraps are on their drum? Because
like one wrap.
Give me a number, ballpark, obviously.
0 wraps.
Generally, how far away are you winching?
It's a little over 1.
Like, how far away are you going to hook to whatever you're hooking to winch, generally?
I don't know.
Well, you never know that. That's
why I
depending
say
on the
kind
scenario.
of generally.
30 feet, 40 feet.
50
80
feet.
foot away from you?
Let's say 50 feet.
Okay.
Let's hope not.
So if you're using an 80-foot winch rope, and you're usually 50 foot away, you've still got some wraps on the drum of the winch, right? The way a winch is rated, the line pull goes down with the more wraps. So if you're real close to somebody trying to winch real hard, if you actually back up and get more winch rope out, but less wraps on the drum, your capacity goes up on the winch.
That makes
It's kind
perfect
of
sense.
ass
Yeah.
backwards. You're like, oh, I got a real heavy pull. I'll get real close. You get real far, get less on the drum, and it pulls harder.
You're effectively changing the gear ratio.
So I pulled up a chart here on a 9,500 pound winch, 1 layer on the drum, 9,500 pounds, 5 layers on the drum. What do you think the max pull is?
4,500.
Oh God, that's got to be more than that. 7,000.
69.40.
7,000.
Wow.
So you almost lose a little over 2,000 pounds with 4 more layers of winch line on the drum.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. I think about it in like RC car terms, like tiny pinion, you know, tons of torque, and like big pinion, like more speed, but less torque. So like, yeah, as that winch line builds up on there, it gets bigger and it effectively makes the winch, less torquey.
So that's where I come into the sizing of a winch. You run a 12,000 pound winch and you're 30 foot away, or you're at a 10,000 pound winch and you're 30 foot away. Which one's stronger?
Obviously the 12.
The 12.
The 12 is always stronger.
Because you're going to live in that probably 30 to 40, maybe 30, I'll say 30 to 50 foot range for most. And I say most air quotes people. They're not usually, you're not winching the full 80 foot of winch rope.
You hope not.
Or you're usually not like, oh, I just need to winch just a little bit when you get a real heavy pull. I mean, we've all been to like, there's a fucking tree right there and you just need a little bump. So, okay, cool. You're not worried about capacity. But like, if you can fit a 12 over a 10 and you can afford a quality 10 or a 12, go for it. But it's all on how much you want to spend.
I think that comes down to the
dollar.
Like brand is going to be preference. Size is going to be preference. I don't know that there is a right answer.
Features are going to go. Some people don't like wireless. Some people like a wired. Some people like steel cable. Some people like synthetic. Like it's
only one people.
One
likes
person
a
in the universe. One people's.
And it's only Mr. Mitch.
So that's what you're entirely right. It comes down to preference. There is no like 1.5x the vehicle capacity. Like literally, if you could mount a 20,000 fucking pound winch on in your bumper of your JK, why the fuck not, right?
Yeah, and put a 50-foot rope on it.
Yeah, I mean, and profit. You could pull a fucking tank.
Yeah,
but like
you could pull.
You know what I mean? Like it all comes down to packaging.
If you get so stuck, that you can't pull yourself out of the hole, you're gonna pull the tree down.
You pull the fucking tree out, and somehow your bumper stays on. I don't know. We don't need to talk about the bumper getting ripped off.
Good welds.
But goddamn, you pull the tree roots and all.
So you were saying that you typically live in that 30 to 50.
I would say 30 to 50 foot is a fairly average for what we kind of do around here
in the woods around here. Yeah, usually have a tree within that range. If you were in a 15-foot range, but you needed that full line pull, you could always just put a snatch block at the tree. And come back to the vehicle. Now you've doubled
you've upped your capacity way more than you think you are. Just by
doubled your line.
More.
You doubled your line pull capacity.
You doubled the reduced line pull.
And then on top of that, you've spooled more line off, an extra 15 foot off.
That's
a valid point there.
And that's if you ever get in a situation where you're stuck as shit and somebody's pulling you out with the winch and it's just not doing it. Back up. Back up until you have 2 to 3 wraps on that fucking winch, because that is right in your peak performance of whatever fucking winch you decided to buy. That's the peak performance, because that's the thing that stays true throughout, no matter what quality, brand, whatever winch you have. couple wraps. I think you're supposed to have like 2 or 3 or something like that to keep it from not like coming the fuck off.
It's one full wrap on the drum.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah, we're talking like a full wrap, not like
one loop,
one rotation around here. We're talking
drum needs to be covered.
One covering of the is considered a wrap. I guess that would be kind of a crucial point. To
it would be, yeah.
Guys out there like one rotation around there. They're like, yeah, the fucking winch cable just flung out of the
winch. That pin right on there.
Yeah,
it just broke the rope right at the belt point.
So get it to that point where you get that one spool, and doesn't matter what you have, you're at its peak performance.
Yeah,
that's the important thing, because we've probably all been in those situations where we didn't know that or didn't think about it.
You know how much pull power you'd have if you were if you had a tree was 25 feet away and you looped it back with a snatch block.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got 50 feet of line out.
Yep.
And you have a snatch block on it.
Yep.
So now you have a 19,000 pound winch.
Oh yeah, you get up in up in numbers pretty fucking quick.
It may not have a high line speed, but buddy, she's gonna pull you out.
And that's where I come back to the not like, do I need a 17,000 pound? No, not really.
I feel like generally, and I haven't done the research to back this up completely, but I feel like generally a lighter K winch, a lighter pole winch has a faster line speed. Do you feel like a 12,000 pound winch has a similar line speed to a 9,000?
I'm sure you could buy a comparable line speed winch. You know what I mean?
What's the price?
Yeah, you're going to pay a lot more.
Because when you're
maybe,
pulling,
and I don't know. I haven't looked up.
When you're pulling 12,000 pound max line pull, I would imagine that number is slower than
it's got more gear reduction.
Yeah, it's because it's just gearing. Yeah.
I wonder. I think the motor may be bigger as well.
You would think it that. You would think it would have to at some point. I
wonder how much stronger the brake is on a 12.
It goes back to probably manufacturer quality.
Well, yeah, but
to some degree. You know?
I just wonder if the 12,000 has a bigger brake setup in it.
It's designed. It's technically designed to hold more weight. I suppose.
I can tell you right now, my 12,000 pound winch does not hold my 4,500 pound Jeep.
Yeah, which is a little sketch.
Not very well. Yeah, it won't hold it like taut.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll hold it. It'll probably hold 25 to 3,000 pounds of it.
But you don't want to be underneath it with the winch supporting it.
Yeah,
that's not a good idea. I don't know that if you lifted the front of the Jeep off the ground, I don't know that the brake would hold it from coming back down.
Wow, that's not great.
It gets you out of a hole.
Yeah, it's not going to hold you up out the hole.
Use it for trying to like scale a wall.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't love my winch, but it does do the job.
It works.
Yeah.
It's on the list, just at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
It's not as high as it should be.
Yeah.
It's not above the bushings.
Yeah. Just ask Santa Claus for one.
Oh,
Santa.
You mean listener clause?
Listener clause.
Patreon clause.
Oh my God.
Give you that Warren money. So basically, I guess for me, every time the winch stuff gets brought up, it's like
preference.
A pissing match because there's no wrong or right answer. If I give you a hammer and tell you to screw in a screw, you're going to go, what the fuck do I whack the shit out of it?
I'm going to get her in there.
If you know how to use the equipment that you put on your rig properly with getting the right line, line wraps and angles of pull, as much as none of us think about it, the angle you're pulling affects the load so much that sometimes we're like, oh, we'll go to that tree right there. Well, if you go straighter to the farther tree, you're actually going to get more pull power. So use what you have and know how to use what you can.
Make sure
you can probably do so much shit with a 5,000 pound winch.
That's what I was just going to say.
If you use it right versus the guy that gets the 17,000 pound Mondo tow truck fucking thing, you know,
has no idea what he's doing.
And has no clue, just fucking hooks it to whatever. So that's what I mean by I'd get caught up less in the 10 to 12 or Warren over Smittyville. Just do some research and know how to use the tools that you do decide to buy.
I feel like the biggest things are definitely going to be I don't know that line speed is really that key. Maybe gear reduction and motor quality.
It all depends on what you're doing.
Right.
Are you racing or are you just drinking beer with your buddies?
That's
in the
what
woods,
I was, and that was my point when he was saying, when we were talking about the difference between a 10 and a 12. I'm like, usually when we are stuck out in the woods, line speed's not really.
I don't give a shit.
Big issue. So if you need to double it over in half your line speed, it's not that big a deal.
Yep.
But I would like one that's faster than what I got now. The one I got now is like half the speed of smell. So reeling it up when you're done doing things is like watching paint dry.
Yep.
But we'll move it slightly up on the list.
All that talking from him who said, I don't have that much to say about winches.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably keep going on, but you just talk.
You got right on that soapbox.
Yeah, you talk yourself.
Is this mine?
Is this? I will stand here. You just talk yourself into circles with it because I mean, you can have the worn versus whatever conversation, and quite honestly, I've never owned a worn winch, so they may be the best thing. I don't know, but you've also run into guys who. I've had a worn winch and it was the biggest piece of shit ever. And I've had a Smithy built and it's the best thing ever. So
we need to call Derek.
Speaking of Derek, he just texted me.
Did he?
Since you were asking who's going wheeling. And
did you ask him how he likes his worn winch versus his Smitty built he used to have?
I mean, I could try to ask him that.
Let's put that in the notes for next week. Will you, Mr. Producer?
I will.
Okay.
Write it down.
We'll talk to him this week.
And are we doing a beer or are we just
we're doing a beer and my customer's about to show up to pick his parts up. So when he shows up, we'll grab a beer and then we'll wrap our last call in about 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
Sounds good to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give them a little bit of a long episode this week.
They got a long episode.
Oh, they did? Are we racking in that 2-hour mark?
Yep.
Oh boy. Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. I had nothing better to do on a 10 o'clock on a Monday night. That's cool.
Sleep, I guess.
Yeah. So Derek says,
it makes you feel.
Who's wheeling on the 14th, 15th? Some guy in a red K30 on 40s I met on Instagram, LOL. And he said, sounds like Connor Lund and Growy will probably be there.
I've barely wheeled with Connor. Very little.
He just
full on.
Been watching. Yeah, he just redid his whole front end. And
his front end?
It's 4-link. I think it was the whole. I think it was just the front end.
Was it IFS before?
No, it was all axle on leaves, I think.
Oh, wow.
I wheeled with him. That thing was so capable before. I can't even imagine now.
Be interesting.
I wonder if this will be the shakedown. I mean, I guess I could ask him on the
old UA group. Yeah. So that's winches. What else did I have on my notes? Because I had so many notes for this week, and I only made it halfway through the last week's podcast. I measured that. That's for last call. Oh my gosh! Last week we were talking about the drag car stuff, and I was listening to the podcast, and you were saying that that's not unusual for them to run for 10 seconds at 2,500 RPM after they shut the fuel, like after they shut it off. And then shortly after that, you made the comment that it takes 700 horsepower to run the supercharger,
which is nuts.
So think about that. You shut the car off. There's so much fuel left in the cylinders that it runs for 10 seconds, making more than 700 horsepower.
On fumes. I say fumes, but it's not actually fumes. But
I mean, it kind of is.
But it's fumes for that engine. It's fumes.
Yeah. It's running on fumes for 10 seconds.
Mind fucking
pushing a 700 supercharger that requires at least 700 horsepower. That's ridiculous. Your pickup truck, like your engine in your truck, will not turn the supercharger over.
That's a good point.
Wide open. Slip it hit a clutch, kills your engine.
Even after an LS swap and a cam and a tune and long tubes, just all it's like
everything.
All that balls to the wall horsepower, not even enough to turn it on.
That's wild. Be right back. Last call. Okay, I had to go deliver some parts. Oh my God, what did you just pour in there?
Chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk. Had to go give some parts to a customer, and now we're back with something thick and delicious from Joe Zumpf.
It's you probably want to. Talk about it. Let me give you the can.
Why don't you just talk about it?
Yeah, just talk about it, Mike. You're the beer Mike.
Fine.
Full size Mike. This
is Hop Butcher's Coarse Grind Hustle, an Imperial Stout brewed with coffee and toffee. It's 11.5% alcohol by volume, and I haven't had it yet. I'm just reading the can. I don't know.
What's your take on this?
I don't think I could drink that whole can.
Oh, you know what this reminds me of? Always room for dessert.
Yeah.
I'm
going to struggle to drink.
Rich.
I'm going to struggle to drink a third of that.
You're reading it and you're like, with notes of coffee. And I'm like, this isn't coffee.
And then you said toffee and you're like,
oh, there it is.
Yep.
Wow, Joe, did you buy 4 of these? Did you drink 3? Were you drunk the whole time?
I don't think you could drink 3 of these if you had to.
It's thick.
Oh my God, I'm glad I'm only drinking 4 ounces of this or whatever
thick
it is.
like chocolate milk.
It's real tasty.
It's worse than chocolate milk, man.
By worse, you mean more alcoholic and better than yes?
It's heavier than chocolate milk by far.
Oh, but it's good.
Oh, it's fucking delicious. But boy,
it's a dessert beer for sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I just still don't know if I could drink a whole can of that.
It's like tiramisu in a can.
Yes, yes. It has very like it kind of has that tiramisu
They
taste
blended tiramisu and then they mixed it with beer. Is that what it says?
It's described. Actually, it's funny. They give you tasting notes on the can, which is kind of weird. But smooth coffee, creamy toffee, and sweet caramel. Which, I mean,
all that.
It's desserty as fuck. But the toffee is really the overpowering flavor.
I had a beer similar to this, not quite as rich, but worth noting. It was from JT Walker's, and they did a beer with Pandemonium Donuts.
Oh,
and they like took their top tier. Did you?
Well, did they have it at the last Muhammad Beer Festival?
I don't remember.
God rest its soul.
That's terrible. That makes me sick.
What? They're not doing it anymore?
That's not a thing anymore.
Is the brewery still a thing?
I think the brewery's still a thing. And I think JT's is going to be doing something also. Now that we're pandemicing is getting closer to being
You know that old Suburban they had? Mm-hmm. That is now the Muhammad Small Engine Suburban. Because I went there to buy some parts for my mower a couple weeks ago and it was just there, but it said Muhammad Small Engine. I was like, that's weird. That was the JT Walker Suburban. Yeah, same. Yeah. Just changed the wording on it.
Yeah. Either that or the same people own it.
I thought that too. I was like, maybe somebody owns everything.
He's into
in
everything. Yeah,
probably.
He owns a Project 45, I think it's called, right there on the corner. It used to be Wing something in Muhammad. In Muhammad, okay. Yeah, right there. As you turn off that main road and go towards where JT Walker's was.
Gotcha.
There's a little like restaurant right there, and I think it's called Project 45 now. I think that's what it's called. I don't know if I remember. But anyway, he owns a couple things out there, all those different things. But what he needs to do, and I think the brewery is still open.
You know, it's funny. We've talked about this before, and none of the three of us have checked yet.
Yeah, that's life.
I wonder.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes.
Oh yeah, that okay. On to the next thing. Damn it, Joe, that's good. So, May 15th, Ian.
Yep.
What are you doing?
I'm going to go race the razor.
Race the razor.
I shouldn't say I should say we. And we, I mean me and my wife are going to go race the razor.
You should have gone last weekend to Women Wheelers. She should have
putting a roof on the house.
No, she didn't. You didn't need her for that.
You literally give her the truck. Oh wait, there is no truck.
No.
The trailer and the truggy, and just be like, just go bomb around.
The camera would pull it.
She wanted
not the truggy. No. Take her razor.
Yeah.
I guess
we were
it'd be way cooler if she showed up in the buggy.
Yeah,
and the truggy.
We were talking about what she wanted to take to that because we were planning on going, and I was like, I am 100%. I'm not even driving the fucking thing off the trailer. Like, all you.
Yeah.
She's like, what are we taking? And I said, I don't give a shit. Take whatever one you want. She's like, well, I want to take the buggy.
Okay.
I said, okay, well, that's not what I thought you would have said, but fuck yeah. And I was like, why? She's like, well, there's just one spot, and she describes it to me back in the course. She's like, I really want to try that again. I was kind of not committed to it the first time, and I think we hit it faster. Fucking A.
That's awesome.
So, and she's like, why? What would you take? And I was like, well, I'd take the razor.
Yeah.
She's like, why?
Because that's who you are now.
And I was like, well, I said, we're doing that race is like a weekend yeah, it would have been 2 weeks, I guess. I said, we're doing that race 2 weeks after. And I said, it'd be nice to get some seat time to kind of just do a little, get familiar with how it handles and shit like that before you just show up and like, all right, race, And she's like, well, that does kind of make sense. And then we were like, the weather's supposed to be pretty decent for about as good as you can get planning wise in Illinois. So we did the roof instead, but
should have postponed it a weekend and done it this coming.
Well, we were planning on only doing half of the roof, and we ended up doing the whole thing, and then do the other half. We got to finish it up here next weekend and finishing touches.
Got it mostly done. Just get out there with a razor blade and lop off the edges.
Trim the edges, put the ridge cap on, and all that.
Oh, okay.
But that's about it, which is nice. But yeah, we're going to go to, this is Cope Michigan.
Cope
to Twisted Trails Off-Road Park, which is supposed to be a pretty good park. And they got it's a 1.5 mile course. It is the RBORR series. It is Jacob Tuma, I believe, is one of the head honchos. I think there's two. When they did their live feed here a couple weeks or a week or two ago, whatever it was, there was two guys on there, and he was one of the two. So I don't know if that's like the two guys that own it or run it or what the deal is exactly. But it's $50 to enter, 100% payback. It's literally just for fun. It's a 3-race series. We're not going to the second one because we have a 0.1 race or Ultra 4 race or some other race we can't go.
Yeah.
But we should be at I want to say the last one's in September. Sounds familiar to me.
The last one, what?
The third race of the 3-race series is in September, so we should be at that one.
Is that the one we missed last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That was the last one of the series. So we're going to be at that one. I know the Crawler Off-Road guys are going to be at that one. I think there's a few other listeners that I've seen that say they're going. Like a couple are racing, a couple are just showing up to have some fun.
I know I got a couple messages, people asking me if I was going.
So we're going to, it's like a 6-hour drive. It's a little farther into Michigan than I thought it was. I don't know, but fuck it. I mean, right?
Yeah,
so,
why not?
So we're gonna go do that. I don't have any goal other than I want to finish.
The race.
I want to finish. Well, see, there's no
in how many pieces?
One
okay.
done.
Just
I don't want to bust
supposed
shit
to make
up.
it through the piece. Yeah.
I don't. It's a weird race because it's an endurance style race. So I mean, the leader will compete, or there's no set laps.
Yeah, it's
literally as many laps as you can make in an hour and a half. So I would think I was looking back through last year's results, and I think 6 laps. There was I don't know, 10, 12, half a dozen, whatever it was. People had done 6 laps, which I would say puts you on the lead lap is if you could have completed 6 laps in that time period and not timed out.
Have you figured out what's your average speed have to be to run that?
I don't.
8 miles.
I was going to start figuring that, and I'm like, well, I wonder how similar the course is going to be.
So 30 miles
from last year to this year.
You said an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I don't know how if the course is going to be different to compare lap because it gives you can look up and it has their split lap times on what their lap times are and see ballpark what they are. So I think we'll
average about 33, 36 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's pretty quick.
It's moving pretty good.
Off-road, that's pretty damn quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see all the things you're going to upgrade.
There's obstacles to go through.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's crazy.
There's some stretches where you can get some speed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's...
Well, we averaged at Rush for the Ultra 4 doing what was the lap? An 8-mile lap. I think it was 8.5 mile lap, average 27 mile an hour and finished 6th.
You got to do 10 mile an hour faster than that.
Yeah, but there's some short course sections built into that. So, I mean, it's especially for your first endurance race, my literal goal is to just, I guess, finish. But I would like to. No, I don't want to finish first. I don't think that's not my goal.
If you're not first, you're last.
Well, we're going to be last. Actually, funny enough, there is a payout. I want to say it's $50 payout to the last place finisher.
That's funny.
It was some, I don't remember the manufacturer's name, but it was somebody, it was a clutch company. And if you're running one of their clutches and you were the last running, I think you had to be the last running finisher with one of their clutches, they pay you $50.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, that's kind of funny. Because literally it's not you fucking won. It's more of a have fun race. So I think that kind of plays into the whole thing. You were the last running finisher with our clutches. Here's a prize.
That's right.
I'm like, that's cool as shit.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
You made it.
I would like to be on the same lap count as the leader is, but I feel like that's a lofty goal.
So is this an unlimited thing? Anyone can bring any side-by-side and do it?
Side-by-sides are all one class. So you're going to run against guys who are running in, like Jacob, running a full chassis, race razor.
Well, that's what I meant.
So that's what I mean. Like, I have no desire to like go out and fucking run, but at the same time, it's an endurance race. We proved it at Rush in a rock bouncer on 43 stickies. We beat out some cars that we should have not been, beat because they broke, they rolled, shit happened because they tried to push too hard.
Went the wrong way up a hill.
An hour and a half, right? An hour and a half's a long time sitting there racing. So you could push too hard coming out the gate. What'd they say? Like a stock general finished like top 5 or something last year.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm
funny.
like, you know what I mean? Because he just turtle and haired it, Yep. So I just want to have some fun because I think it'll be funner than shit just to go out there with my wife and kind of just beat bop around and do that. And so that's my goal. Drive it back on the trailer and just, I don't know. I just want to have fun. It'll be a good time. It's a no pressure. You don't have to go out and full send and tear your shit up to try to win it. Right. And I know the course, and looking at videos and watching videos and talking to Jake a little bit, it's not a Bounty Hill style course. You're not going to go out there and just fuck your shit up.
Right.
Unless you push yourself really hard. So the opportunity's there. But if you take your time and just kind of cruise through it and have a little fun, I don't know. It'll be a good time.
Right.
So
also on May 15th, if you're not going to that race, you should make your way to Dubuque, Iowa, to go to Complete Off-Road's Customer Appreciation Day.
Oh, that's the most depressing thing about the whole weekend for me. Because I was planning on going to that, and then the race series race was that day, and I'm like,
How do you decide?
Well, I'd already registered for the race when I put 2 and 2 together, and I'm in $50 to register and all that. But I was already like, Jacob, I'll be there. Said I was going to be there, registered to be there. And then Chris is like, "What, are you going to both?" And I'm like, "Oh, damn it!" Like,
now how am I going to do that?
Yeah, so
10 hours away.
Chris can come and pick up the buggy, and he can park it out there at Complete Off Road and advertise for me. Well, not for me, for him.
Yeah, for him.
And then he can bring it back to me.
Yeah. With new gears in it.
New gears in it.
Yeah.
And
which wouldn't do any good because the rear axle doesn't need gears.
Yeah, I'll drop that. You can pick up that axle on the trailer.
Okay, there you go.
I can be like,
just hanging on the back of the buggy.
Yep, we can do that.
We'll just strap the winch around it.
Yes.
Perfect.
So yeah, we can do that for some promo. But no, I would really like to have gone to that because I do think it would be kind of neat to go see some like Iowa off-road stuff. That's not, when you say off-road, nobody really goes like Iowa. But like, clearly it's a profitable business, so there's a market for it, so there's going to be a crowd. It's going to be cool. It would be a neat event to go to, so I'm bummed as shit about that. But there's only so many weekends in the year, and they seem to get packed quickly this year.
I'm trying to figure out how I can make that work to make it over there to Complete Off-Road.
It's exactly 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's funny because it even says like 4 hours, no tolls, 5 hours and 10 minutes with tolls. I'm like, I can't go there, no tolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a nice drive. You just run up through Peoria and then just head up north.
Yep.
You can just leave in the morning and get there at lunchtime.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I left right at 4 a.m. and got there I left a little after 4. It was like 4:30. And I had a couple pit stops on the way over there. And I got there just before 9, I think it was.
Yep.
So like, it wasn't bad.
It's not bad at all.
No, it was like a cool drive for me because it was something different.
Yep.
But
never been to Iowa.
I took the van. You're not really in Iowa.
Yeah.
So to say, I mean, you're sitting right on the edge.
Yeah.
It's still Illinois. It's far more hilly.
Your tax bill says it's not Illinois. I damn can guarantee you that.
But I would like to go to that. He was like, yeah. And Chris's wife Andrea is like, Chris's son, did you see the post about his car?
Nope.
So they got his car, which is, I can't think of what it is now. Anyway, it's an older muscle car. It's like a 70s muscle car, but it's got a set of the old mag wheels on it, but they're pretty rough looking. I was like, yeah, you just throw those in a box and ship them over here real quick and I'll fix those up for you.
Oh, yeah.
And Andrew's like, well, just have him come up Friday, polish out the wheels. And then Saturday he can go to the Complete Off-Road Customer Appreciation Days. And then Sunday you guys can go wheeling. I'm like, sounds like a great weekend.
Sounds like Mama spoke and you done booked.
I don't know what I'm going to do with my wife and my child, but That might be kind of difficult.
You gonna wheel Friday and then go to Iowa on Saturday?
That would be hard.
Okay, Dad.
Welcome to life.
That might be a tough one.
That's the dog life that I live.
Definitely not going to drag my Jeep over. I don't think. I don't see that as a thing.
Drag it to Iowa?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's only 4 hours.
I mean, that's a valid point too. And your trailer's fully ready to go.
Yeah.
The truck didn't love the last pull, so maybe by this week, maybe by Friday the 14th, I can have that other set of wheel and tire package together and take it for a drive, take it and tow it over the Badlands with that tire combo. So I just happen to have a stock set of like a stock size tire sitting there in the backyard, and I have an extra set of PYOs that are polished. So I thought I'd just put them together and throw them on the truck. If I'm not going to like the way they look. They're just going to look goofy.
No, it's going to it's going to
look
look dumb.
baby tires. Because it's got 33s on it now. Those are like 30 and a halves.
Yep.
It's going to look like a stock something. I'm trying to think what back in the day was super tall. But
HD.
No. Well, actually, yes, HDs, but also like Dodges back in the day. They looked like they had like 6-inch lift. They had 245s on them. And I was like, that was a 6-inch lift kit.
The 2500.
Like,
the 2500 gassers.
Hey, you could put a
35-inch
tire on it and it would
no
look
lift.
Beautiful.
Yes.
No lift. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there were a certain set of those Dodges.
It's like 94 to 01s.
One of my buddies' mom had one. They bought it brand new. It was that beautiful dark blue, extended cab, short bed, Ram 2500, and it was an 01, I think. And it was I think it was a 01. Yep.
But that body style, that older body style.
That truck was gorgeous. And it was her truck. And she was a toothpick and about 5'6", just rocking around this big ass truck.
That's awesome.
Because back in its day, that truck was big.
It'd probably still be big today.
It'd still be decently big today.
A truck that you can put 35s on stock and they look like they're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Like not even stuffed at all.
It's a pretty big truck.
That's a pretty big truck.
Pretty tall truck anyway. Yeah. So I would like to go. I would like to go to Complete Off-Road. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it.
Literally leave the Badlands, drive straight there, have dinner at Chris's place.
Yeah.
I'm sure they let you stay the night.
Polish the wheels. Just throw a couple buffs and buffers in the back of the truck, and from one wheeling park straight to the off-road place.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weekend right there. That's a busy weekend.
That would be a busy.
CBAP YWL.
Cool, bro. I don't know what I'm going to do with my wife and my kid.
They'll be at home. They'll be fine.
What are you talking about? Yeah, they just do the same thing they're doing right now. They're at home without you.
Yep. Profit.
That sounds like a terrible conversation.
For you, not for me.
Yeah, for me. Yeah.
You're just like Thursday night, see you Monday.
Yep. See you Monday.
Weekend trip. Shouldn't have to know where you're all going.
She asks questions. You just raise your hand. What'd you say to me?
8 states, whatever. But no,
that's how you get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
Just take your ass whooping and roll on down the road to the off-road part, buddy.
You show back up and the locks are changed.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Head brake on front.
You're like, why is Mike's truck in the driveway?
Buy me a window. It's all good.
That ain't my truck in the truck.
There's a couple country songs that go that way, I believe.
And they all started with CBAT YWL.
Yeah, buddy. Yep.
Who was I said that to the other day?
Someone that had no idea, and they were like, looked at you like, what?
I don't remember who it
was. Well, if it wasn't a listener, then they probably didn't know what the fuck you were talking about.
Definitely a listener. I just can't remember what the context was of it now. It was some conversation to do with something. I feel like it was in the Patreon, potentially.
I wouldn't know. I'm not that yet.
I think they may have been talking about the winches, and it was like, why would you do a warrant? I'm like, CPAP YWO.
Might as well.
It's the answer to everything.
Fortunately, it is.
Always. You ready to wrap this thing up?
Yes.
Yes.
Past Ian's bedtime.
It is far past his bedtime.
5:30 come early.
Yep. It's going to do that for sure.
5:30 come very early.
Alrighty. So, if you're not already, you should go be a patron. It's $1 or $10 if you want to win stuff. Go check it out. www.patreon.com/Total Off-Road Podcast. It's the only way you can find us on Patreon. Check us out on Facebook at the Total Off-Road Podcast page on Facebook, and also the Trail Riders page. If you want to get in, just answer the 2 questions. We'll let you right in. If you don't answer the questions, I'm not letting you in. That's just the way it works these days. And Instagram, total_offroad_podcast. If you want to check out Snow Day, Mike's full-size rig, go to Mike So Funny. No underscores, right?
I think it's just Mike So Funny on Instagram.
Mike So Funny on Instagram.
There's not a whole lot of content. I'm not big into social medias,
Yeah.
but there's a couple things on there.
There's
You'll see the
pictures of
truck.
it. Yeah, you'll know what it is.
Yeah.
So you can check out that truck there, and you can see it's Quasar blue, light Quasar blue metallic.
Light Quasar blue metallic.
You know,
Extra light.
the more we say that word, the more it sounds
Quasar.
familiar. Yeah.
I wonder how GM said it.
I don't know. Yeah, right. Go to the website, pick up some Nug Life stickers and some apparel at www.totaloffroadpodcast.com and check out the YouTube channel. I know you're not subscribed because we don't have as many subscribers to the YouTube channel as we do have listeners on this podcast. So quit being a dick and go subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Here's a good fact to leave you with.
All right, one last fact.
Quasar. Shining so brightly that they eclipse the ancient galaxies that contain them. Quasars are distant objects powered by black holes 1 billion times as massive as our sun.
That sounds about like Snow Day.
1 billion times as massive as the sun. That's how big
If
the
you
black
so
hole
much as
is.
side eye that black hole, you disintegrate.
So the key here,
How do we as a universe not get sucked into that?
It's too far away.
quasars are extremely bright, up to 1,000 times brighter than the Milky Way galaxy. So that's where you get that real bright blue
Mm-hmm.
is from that. Because looking at the
it's
picture,
welding blue.
it looks. Let me
I
show
think
you
I looked
this.
him up like a quasar tsunami.
It's like a fucking
Yeah, that's what I saw.
blue star
Wow.
looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they go a light quasar blue metallic, which is damn close to
What it is.
the color of the truck.
That's interesting. Thanks for that tidbit.
I just Googled it. I was like, what the fuck's a quasar? Well, it turns out that's a quasar. So thanks. Now, when you're on Jeopardy and you win, just kick us like $100 to like go buy
Yeah.
some beer or something.
Yeah. All right, that sounds good. Send us another shifter.
Another
What-
one.
What was it I needed? A winch?
Winch.
Oh yeah, you need what is it? A worn winch?
Send us some winch and some race lights, whatever.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
If
when you
win
win big on Jeopardy because you know what the fuck a quasar is.
Somebody out there every time you say quasar, he's like, "It's quasar. It's quasar." He's just mad. He's just
how
like,
it
"You're
works.
saying it wrong.
That's
You're saying
how
it
it
wrong."
always works. You find those people get you before you're out of bed on Tuesday mornings. It's
Oh,
like
yes.
6:30, 7 o'clock in
That
the morning.
they do.
They're like,
You
you
dumb
guys are
son of a
fucking
bitch.
idiots. And we're like, yeah, we knew. We knew that before we started recording the podcast. Thanks for telling us nothing we already know. That is all I have.
Wait, here it is.
Maybe.
No.
Quasar.
Oh, you're saying it right.
Quasar.
It's quasar.
right.
Yeah,
All
here
right.
it is. It's
Suck it.
KWEI. Czar. Quasar.
Quay. Yep.
We
Quasar.
ain't,
You've been
we
saying
ain't
it
as
right the whole
dumb as
time.
we look. We're close, but not quite as dumb as we
Look at
look.
that. We're not going to get messages first thing Tuesday morning about saying it wrong.
Nah, we'll just get them about something else.
Yeah.
They always come.
Definitely did
it'll
something wrong today.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
They always come. But we love it. We love it.
It's the
Yeah.
best.
All right. We're done with this podcast. Go buy some swag off the website so you can keep Ian busy shipping shit this week. And
Yes.
Mike, last words?
Go drink tasty beer this week.
Amen. And we'll catch you on the trail.